Can't undo it, guys.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, Drew. He took me this morning. He's like, send me some fish. I said, well, that's a risky business to send me some fish. Try my best. That's you? No, it's definitely you. You're thinking a lot.
No.
It's an air job.
Oh, that's right.
He said, send me some fish. I mean, there's a lot of fish, so I guess I'll try to give him some scraps.
There you go.
Yeah, but you know, y'all people that be eating like. So I'm talking about he was eating. I was like, I guess because it was free too. When he was full, he just like kept going back. He goes to the bathroom, do that out, come back, get some more. I'm like, you ever been around somebody that eats so much you lose your appetite? Like, I can't eat no more. This is good. So, that's one of those situations. I didn't make the fish. I made the fish right next to you.
Yeah.
Oh, that fish. What did I add to it? I can't tell you my secret recipe is a secret. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Can't tell you the secret recipe. Did you get it? Just say it was said, bro. I'm gonna just start.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I don't do salmon.
This one, right? Fine, we're doing it. Yeah, because you got the wishbone. Yeah,
Oh, that wasn't that last time.
Mhm.
That's not what I added. That was new.
Oh, really?
Oh, there you go. It might have been the last time. I just didn't see that. It was so small.
Okay, cool.
Let me see. Because I actually like how you got that. All right, so like I said, you know, so.
Fish, like if you were to kick, you can see it being to like a bear and a wolfish, it's better. Tilapia.
Oh, that's gonna be tough.
Mm.
Well, that's cool, right? Because I'm be looking at the picture.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna be Facebook. That's cool. It's still I can do my work because I don't got that camera. No, you're good. I wasn't in front of the TV.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. Tilapia's good at fish. All
All right. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Everybody's been here before. You know the routine. A newcomer. We just sit here. We talk Bible. I show you scriptures. I show videos, pictures to try to, show you what's going on in the world. Today we're talking about being deception. So first fruits is just the actual feast. First fruits, you may hear it as Pentecost, right? Now Pentecostal, so something totally different. But Pentecost, it means 50, right? Because you count 50 days after which we had Passover, which was a few weeks ago, well, more than a few weeks ago, 50 days ago. So we take it on there. So this is talking about being not deceived, right? I think people don't realize how much deception is in the world, right? Like I told you, I just recently ate pork. Wasn't thrilled. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all when the pork video come up. I'm gonna show y'all a pork video, but I wasn't thrilled. But I'm not mad. I was under grace, like we all under grace. I really didn't know because I never thought it would be in that. Never. I just like, oh, okay, cool. But now I know. But I've been getting myself back to cleaning my diet up anyway, just because the things that's outside and about, like I said, people may, wear a cross or they'll wear this or they'll do this, not realizing where it comes from, right? I tell you all the time, your excuses really don't matter. It's like ignorance of the law. They always told us like the police, well, we don't care if you don't know the law. And you know what's crazy? He right. It's not really my fault. But his fault that I don't know the law. I should take the time to know the law, like I said, the time to know God and know his law, right? So a lot of things you're going to see is just deception, right? I'm going to show you how they place it in the Bible. I'm going to show you how they also, take it out on this world. So this is a funny picture. Y'all going to laugh, I guess, at this, right? So this is how I feel how most people see the Bible, right? See the apples and fruits, actual scripture, religion. I guess that's some type of drug. I'm going to say cocaine. As you can see how he's getting down, right? But the problem is that people care about what their emotions feel, they taste. Like I said, people don't eat for health. They eat for taste. I was just talking to my brother, and he was talking about my mayonnaise I eat. He was like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know why? You've been eating sugar your whole life. That's all you know, right? Now I realized I learned something new that the sugars they've been putting in the food is actually with the parasites that you probably have in your body, like. So when you don't feed them sugar, they get mad. And this is when you can start to detoxing your body, which my brother said he was doing, detoxing his body, right? So a lot of things, when you think something is nasty, it's not that you think it's nasty. It's the parasites like, hey, we don't want that. Not realizing parasites are alive. They may be really small or whatever, but pigs, all these type of things, animals, everybody got parasites probably, right? And there's all kind of detoxing and things like that. All right, about. So the first scripture we in is Galatians. It's chapter 6, verse 6 and 7.
Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, thou shalt he also reap.
All right, so this is a little bit talking about me, but talking about anybody. So it says when you talk to somebody, teach somebody the word, teach them all good things. And the reason why I say that and I tell y'all that is that I try to put my heart is in this as much as I can, but I also try to put understanding, knowledge, and wisdom I get from God, because what I'm teaching y'all, He gonna hold me accountable. So if I tell y'all can drink blood, and y'all go drink it, He gonna spare y'all. Y'all can get punished, but He gonna spare y'all. He gonna annihilate me because I'm telling y'all this is something that He told me to tell y'all, which will be a lie, right? So when I tell y'all things, uh, it's not for my health. It's not for your health. It's for your soul, your spirit, right? Because that's what really got to be saved. The flesh just don't matter. You can mess it up. I got tattoos. I regret those, right? They're like one of the most vain things I ever did, right? This don't matter. But my wisdom and understanding, learning about the spiritual aspect is deeper. I learned the spiritual aspect about sex, the spiritual aspect about food is so much. Like why they give us pigs, right? People say, oh, it's from slavery time. Well, pigs are dirty animals that defile you, right? So you eat pig, you probably gonna act like a pig. Right, not saying you can't eat vegetables and still act savage, right? But 9 times 10 you're gonna eat savage. I don't know if you ever seen like these old, I guess with medieval time movies. They don't be having no spoons enough, and they just be at the plate, just grab it. Can you just imagine being in a restaurant, somebody just sticking their hand in the peas, and they're like, "You got to stick your hand in the peas too." They don't care. So they live savage, but this is how they're living, right? But their spirit is savage. It's not like they're doing this because it's all fleshly. Their spirit thinks this way. Their spirit thinks it's okay, right? So this is the next thing. So this is talking about beware of traditions and how we fall into those things. So this is Colossians chapter 2, verse 8.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of man, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So a lot of things people do is tradition. I tell people this all the time, even religion, churches, it's really tradition, right? People grow up doing certain things. We grew up, uh, like I'm pretty sure y'all heard this. I want to have my cake and eat it too, right? That's not what he was saying. They say I want to have my cake and eat it too, which makes a lot more sense. You want to have a girl and another girl, because why would I not want to have my cake if it's mine? That doesn't make any sense. But that makes a lot of sense when they say Kate and Edith, because you want to have both girls, right? So now you pass this tradition on, right? And it's messed up. So now we all believe that. She just looked over, was like, you know what I'm saying? She's older than me, right? So just think about how long she's known that. And it's like, okay, cool. Like telephone game, y'all play that in school. You say something to somebody, you say like baloney. And by the time it'd be like pizza. Like whoa, like where did the translation? Well, it's the same thing like that with God, right? Same thing happen when God's talking, right? So this is Christ talking in Matthew. He's talking about false prophets. So this is Matthew 24:5, 24:11, and 24:24.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
All right, so Christ just means anointed one, right? So Christ, Jesus Christ, so that's what they call him, but I know him as Yeshua. He's a quote unquote anointed one, but in Rome they had a lot of anointed ones, right? That's why I say it's false Christ and false prophets. We had a session before a couple months ago, and I was talking about false prophets and false Christs. Same thing, the false prophets people talking about they speak utterance, right? Well, there's no more prophecy, right? You could call me a prophet, but all I'm doing is giving utterance. I have no more future revelation to tell y'all. Everything else stopped at Christ. So once Christ came, that's it. Everything you need to know from Revelation to Genesis, all that stopped at Christ, right? But the deception is the big part, right? It said it can deceive the very elect. Let's say I feel like y'all all the elect. Y'all can be deceived too. You're not special. People always think that Satan can't trick them. That's not true. Satan tricked the whole world, right? So everybody's possible. Everybody's open for deception, right? But you get away from deception by wanting to learn truth, no matter if it hurt your feelings or not. A lot of people have a problem with truth, right? Because it hurts their feelings. It's not what they want. It's not what this. That's not what truth does, right? Truth is undeniable. Truth is not debatable. But truth is going to be the best for you because you don't have to sit here and can make a lie. You can just literally act on that type of lifestyle and just live there instead of somebody lying to you, right? You believe that as it was truth, and now you do all types of things. So this is the first one. I don't know if y'all know about the Pope dying or whatever. So the Pope died. Pope Francis, he died. So you see this headline? You see what it says? It says the Vatican asked Pope Francis funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit. So y'all know Trump got the day to be different. But you see how this headline is posted? It's a deception, right? Because it makes it seem like Trump's a bad person or he's going against the grain or he's so tyranny, right? Okay, he do got a blue suit on, but you see this picture? You see people with black suits, right? He's the one in blue. The problem is they're not going to show you this picture. A lot of people got on blue. The Arab people got on white. That man got on white, black, gold, right? But they're trying to paint a picture, a narrative. That's deception, right? I'm just showing you all this is a slight form of deception. I'll show you another picture, right?
Did you know that
More people got on blue.
Trump accepted Judaism 3 years ago?
Yeah. Because I think he was at the little the wall one time. He was when he was in president offices or whatever. So there's like an African lady right there at the bottom. She got like a blue. I don't know what that is, but it's just the narrative how they paint, right? So deception is always about Yahoo. I'm gonna get to your Easter situation. I think this is something you can show your parents. So y'all know who this guy is or these people?
I know who he the one that do those things with the college kids.
No.
That's not him.
Nah. Nobody
He
know
just
him.
look younger here though.
Oh yeah, that's not him. No, that's not him. That's not Charlie Kirk. There you go. It says, thank you for your prayers and your condolences, but that is not enough, right? So let me click on another picture. He's a crisis actor. You see this? There's an event in California happening August 17th. There's an event in Florida happening February 18th. Both mass shootings. How you at both of them? Now, I'm not saying you couldn't have been at both of them, but man, boy, you know where to be at the right time. And let alone you survived both mass shootings, right? So let me see this next picture. It's not a crisis. So these are crisis actors, right? They pay people to be in situations. I was telling somebody recently, I said, I think they pay people to start traffic. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Literally just sit around the beltway. Because I said, I'll probably do it. You pay me $4 an hour, I just sit around and go in circles. Because they'll cause traffic. But who would know? How would you know? It's way too many people in the world for you to really figure out what somebody would cause traffic.
I couldn't figure that shit out.
But yeah, seriously though. But see, this the thing though. The TV will always like mess with you. So I have a friend who thinks that one of his neighbors is like a spy, CIA agent, right? Because he has like this camera that sits and it watches the whole neighborhood. And he'll always say, man, he called the police on me, he do this, X, Y, Z, right? And people are like, nah, you're crazy, you're tripping. But I found out recently from other real CIA agents, some CIA agents don't actually be in the field. They don't be out. They don't be doing these tours and nothing. They be at their house. They'll pay for them to have a house. And they just literally here to watch the neighborhood. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
They know these spies on people. You don't know that. Why would they tell you that? You're like, they can't even tell you certain things. They can't tell. Like, if I was a CIA agent, I couldn't tell my family certain things. I couldn't sit here and tell my wife, anybody. I couldn't tell nobody certain things about what I do because that's part of it, right? So just imagine if it's deception, you want me to trust me on that level, how far can this go, right? So my brother spoke about Easter. He asked me about Easter because, well, a lot of people ask me about Easter. I'll say that. They were like, you don't celebrate Good Friday or you don't celebrate Easter Sunday? No, I don't. Just watch this video. No, I do not. Make sure it's loud enough.
It's this Sunday. They celebrate them this Sunday.
Well, but you see, there's something wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
They said they killed him on Friday. Took 3 days to rise. Now, in your hand.
Okay.
Now count 3 days from Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday.
There you go.
Think about that. One year Easter come in March, another year it comes in April. You can't be killed in 2 different months. I mean, you can't be killed in 2 different days. That's why 2 different months.
All right, so I tell people all the time, I was like, yeah, you follow tradition so much you can't even count. It's not even 3 days. So then I heard somebody say, well, I think I told you about it, Yahoo, that they say 12 hours is considered a day through Jewish culture. I said, okay, cool. the problem is, so they said Friday night was 12, Saturday was 12, and then Saturday night was another 12. So it was on Sunday, he was gone. The problem is when Christ talks about Jonah, he said Jonah was in the belly for 3 days and 3 nights. So you can count those 3 Jewish culture days, but that's not going to work because he says 3 days and 3 nights. So it got to be 3 days and 3 nights, not 3 12-hour periods of time, right? So this is another video about Easter. So you're gonna watch this.
Ever, where in the world did we ever get Easter to celebrate Jesus' resurrection? Have you ever wondered about that? I bet most of you have never thought about it twice. You know why? Because everybody's always done it. Your mommy and daddy did it. Their parents did it. Grandma and grandpa did it. Great-grandparents did it. You do it because everybody else has done it all your life. You just kind of go along because everybody else has done it, right? All right. But where did it come from? Did the thought ever cross your mind? First of all, let me make a statement here that's going to blow your mind. Do you know that Easter Sunday cannot possibly be the day of the resurrection? You know why? Easter never falls on the same date.
This is crazy.
Year to year.
Watch this.
Right? It can't be the day of Jesus' resurrection. I'll tell you why. Look at the screen here. For example, let's go back 5 or 6 years. In 1996, Easter came on April the 7th. That's when you all celebrated it. The next year, 1997, it came on March the 30th. The next year, in 1998, it came on April the 12th. Last year, it came on April the 3rd. This year, it's going to come on April the 23rd. So how can you have a difference from April the 23rd clear back to March 30th? That's a difference of 23 days. How does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens. Easter is not regulated by a date. Easter is regulated by the solar system. You know why? Easter always comes the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the equinox, when days and nights are equal length. You never knew that, did you? Isn't that amazing? And so all the people that are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus on Easter Sunday morning, it's just not true. It didn't happen then. Okay? But anyway, the question is, how did we ever get Easter on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the equinox? Did you ever wonder about that? I'll tell you where it comes from. Would you like to guess? It comes from Babylon. You're right. Everything goes back to Babylon. I don't care what it is. In Babylon, they had a goddess of fertility. Her name was, interestingly, Ishtar. I-S-H-T-A-R. That's where we get our word Easter from, was this pagan goddess of fertility. If you doubt this, by the way, go home tonight in your encyclopedia and look up Easter in your encyclopedia. It'll tell you the whole story that I'm going to tell you right now. It's in every history book. And what they did, this goddess of fertility called Ishtar, they worshipped her in the springtime. You know why? Because everything was coming to life, and she was the one that caused all life and everything to grow anyway, so they thought she got very active in the springtime. So they honored her always on the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the equinox. That was Ishtar's day, because she was the goddess of fertility, the goddess of reproduction. And you know what happens, folks? They took that then, and they celebrated this day of her in her honor, and so did Medo-Persia, and so did Greece. In fact, Greece had her under another name called Venus. You ever heard of Venus before? That's Ishtar in Babylon, the same thing. And then you go to Rome, and Rome had this, and folks, the same thing. You come to Constantine. Constantine, about 300 years after Jesus, says, hey, we got all these pagans out here, and they're worshiping Ishtar on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the equinox. You know what? Jesus rose from the tomb in the springtime. It was Passover time and so on. Why don't we take this Ishtar's day, and instead of giving honor to Ishtar, the giver of life and so on, Jesus is the resurrection. Jesus is the life. Why don't we start to keep this day in honor of Jesus Christ? And we can win all these pagans to Christianity. And the Christians said, that's a great idea. And so he changed Ishtar's day to Easter Day in honor of Jesus' resurrection. And then as Papal Rome again rules the entire world for the next 1,260 years, it passes that teaching on to everybody in the world, and the whole world does it, and nobody even thinks twice about it. But you all tell me, what in the world do chocolate chickies and bunny rabbits got to do with the resurrection of Jesus?
That man turd.
Amen? Did you ever wonder about that? I bet you didn't. You know why? You've done it all your life.
Yep.
Everybody does it. But you know where it comes from? Make a guess. Babylon is right. Because, folks, in Babylon, they worship the egg on Easter's Day, because an egg is a symbol of fertility. Not only that, they worship bunny rabbits on Easter's Day. You know why? Because bunny rabbits are the most prolific reproducers in the world. I know. I grew up on a ranch. We had lots of rabbits. All rabbits do is make love and have babies. Isn't that right? Yeah. And so, honestly, they worship the rabbit. And we still have that today, all the way back from Babylon. Amazing, isn't it? But now, folks, I want to ask you another question here tonight. I want you to think with me, because you're intelligent people. If things like Christmas and Easter, coming straight from pagan Babylon, have made their way into our world tonight and been Christianized, and everybody just does it because everybody else does it. My question to you is this. Don't you suppose that there might be some other things also? Don't you suppose there might have been some other false teachings or errors or pagan practices or deceptions that have snuck their way in that we are following and teaching and practicing that's totally contrary to the truth of the Bible? Don't you think there might be some of those? You better believe it, my friends. You better believe it. Where in the world did...
See, I like that. That's church. Everybody quiet because he got him shook, got him stunned. And the reason why is, like I said, there's something never questioned. I actually questioned Easter when I was a child, right? My mom was doing it for us, and she gave us like baskets, and it was kind of cool. You know, we painted the eggs, you know, did the little dye on it, did it, Easter hunt. And I was like, well, that's it. Like, ain't no, you know, ain't nothing no store. Because Christmas is a little different, you know, it's a whole shebang and everything. And Halloween was a shebang. But Easter really wasn't really a shebang. I was like, this ain't fun. So I guess she took the memo. She just stopped doing it. Right? She was like, I'm done with that. I was like, okay, cool. Next time Easter was out celebrated somewhat. It was the next year, and it was Easter egg hunt around my neighborhood in these little project areas or whatever. And they did Easter hunt for the kids, but I was a little too old to play. But my little brother wasn't. So I saw the parents helping their kids get the eggs, and I was like, they not about to outdo us. It's crazy. He came back with all the eggs. They was like, yeah, they didn't want to give him the prize. But I only say that to say, like, yeah, it's so tradition, right? And they always get the children, right? Because the children will be the ones. But then as a child, you never broke out that tradition. So you will hold it forever till you get older and XYZ. And now you got your kids doing it. But you don't even know why you doing it. Same thing with Christmas, Halloween, you just sitting here doing it or whatever the case may be. My friend, not gonna put his information out like that, real close friend of mine, his mom was mad because he didn't say Happy Mother's Day. I said, well, look, we don't really do that. And he showed her biblically why you shouldn't do Happy Mother's Day. But guess what? She don't care about that. I need the Happy Mother's Day. I need the car, I need the flowers. But why? What makes this day so, special, specific that you're so hound and so honed on this day, right? It's tradition. You think you deserve something, you're onto something. I never understood Mother's Day and Father's Day anyway. I always understood, like, why wouldn't it be Parents' Day? Gonna take two parents to make a child, right? But now we don't do that, right? We're just gonna sit here and honor mom separately and then honor dad. And what's crazy is, I think Mother's Day might be like number one, number two holiday. Yeah, something like that. Christmas probably up there like number one, Thanksgiving, and Mother's Day. Father's Day like 100th. Like it's like, how is this many holidays that I don't even know about just before Father's Day, right? But I think it should be Parents' Day just in general, because God wants you to honor your parents, right? He says honor your mother and your father, not just your mom or your dad. So no shade to women or anything like that. So this is another video. I'm gonna cut this one short because I don't need to watch the whole thing. But he's going in depth about this Easter lady or Easter or whatever. They lie about so much. Even the pyramids. I learned stuff about the pyramids. It's crazy. I'll speak on that after I'm done.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects.
Yeah.
Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news, independent research from around the world.
Big nose, big head, watch. It's a cartoon.
Today is Easter Sunday, and whilst the Christians of the world are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Christians and non-Christians alike will no doubt be feasting on chocolate eggs. The rebirth of Jesus and the consumption of chocolate eggs are certainly not linked with regards to their origins, and historians and biblical scholars alike will universally admit that before ever becoming a Christian holiday, Easter is undoubtedly a pagan festival. This can be seen by the fact that the date of the Easter weekend changes every year, and it is due to Easter always being the first Sunday following the full moon after the spring equinox. Unlike the word Christmas, the word Easter also has pagan roots, and history books can trace it back to the Saxons, where Easter was the spring goddess. It wasn't until the 8th century when the Anglo-Saxons took the name from the goddess and married her up with the resurrection of Jesus to give a new name to a Christian holiday. But of course, Easter as a celebration goes back much further than the Saxons, and some say it even goes as far back as the Sumerians, and the legend of Dumuzi or Tammuz to the Babylonians, and Ishtar or Inanna. The legend known as the Descent of Inanna was found inscribed on a 4,100-year-old clay tablet. As Tammuz dies, Ishtar follows him into the underworld, where she gets judged, killed, and is hung on display. Meanwhile, the earth goes into decline, with crops failing and animals stop reproducing. After being missing for 3 days, the god Enki sends 2 creatures into the underworld, carrying the plant and water of life, and the 2 gods are resurrected. They return to Earth as the light of the sun for 6 months, and 6 months later, they go back into the underworld again and stay for a further 6 months. Hence, we see the cycle of death in the autumn and life in spring, all of which, of course, are connected to sun worship. As you can see, like the story of Noah's flood, the Christian story of Jesus has borrowed a lot from the Sumerian legends. Whether Jesus was a real person or not is open to debate and is not for this video, but there is no doubt that the story of Jesus was embellished with far more ancient mythology to keep the ancient knowledge alive and to encode the wisdom into the New Testament for future.
Alright. So, let me show you this other video. Give me 1 second. So I like this video too. Because this Easter lady, right? It's called the Queen of Heaven, and the Bible actually speaks about that. So y'all can see this, right?
You need to fix that, man.
What?
That.
Oh, yeah. There you go. It's good. I'm saying I said anything. It's because it wasn't on the thing. It's not. It's not the right video. I put the wrong video through.
Bunnies and Easter eggs, the symbols of Easter and of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ. Wait, that can't be right. There are no Easter bunnies in the Bible, and yet these symbols are adorned in every shopping market around the country. What do they have to do with the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ? Well, friends, the simple truth is that Easter is not and never has been a Christian holiday. No, sadly, Jesus was simply co-opted into this pagan holiday to disguise a great truth of this age, that the mysterious Babylon religion, as foretold in the book of Revelation, is still being worshipped in the open this very day, even by those that think themselves Christians. Today, we take a look at the true origins of Easter. Yes, many still debate these origins, and for those interested, I've written a response to those debacles that you can find by clicking the link in the description of this video. For now, though, sit back and relax, as I exhort upon you the true origins of Easter. Easter is the celebration of the Assyrian Babylonian goddess Ishtar, also called Ashtoreth or Astarte, who, amongst many things, was celebrated as a fertility goddess. Rabbits and eggs are the symbols of fertility. Traditionally, she was celebrated in the spring, along with the rebirth of nature. Not only of nature, though, but of her miraculous conception. The spring equinox marks the date of the conception of her son, Tammuz, whose birth is celebrated approximately 9 months later on December 25th. Is this sounding familiar to you yet? Yes, my dear friends, I'm sorry to say, Christmas too is a pagan holiday. All indicators point to our Lord Jesus Christ being born on or around the Feast of Tabernacles, sometime in September, not in December, and certainly not with a tree. But let's get back to Ishtar, or Ashtoreth, Easter. Who is she? Well, she's gone by many names. Some call her Inanna, Ashereth, and Venus. She's also been called Aphrodite, Artemis, and Diana. She has had many names and many forms over the centuries, but they all boil down to one origin, one person, the Queen of Babylon, Semiramis. You might recall a story in the Bible about a tower in Babylon built to reach heaven. Well, if you recall, God confounded the languages of Babel. When this happened, the people split up, gathering together with others that spoke their language. Although the majority could no longer communicate with one another, they still had their same religion from Babylon. So when they formed new cities, they brought their old religion with them, giving each god or goddess a new name. Nimrod, the king of Babylon, also known as Gilgamesh, became Marduk, An, and Sargon of Akkad. Semiramis, his wife, became Ishtar, Inanna, Astarte, and Ashtoreth. Her son Tammuz became Asher, Horus, and Baal. So what does all this have to do with Easter? When Nimrod died, his wife, Semiramis, sought to retain her power as queen of the kingdom, so she concocted a story about her unborn child, that her pregnancy was miraculous, and that her child, Tammuz, was actually Nimrod, reincarnated. By marrying her son, the supposed reincarnation of her husband, this would not only make her the queen of Babylon, but because Nimrod was the god king, it also made her the mother of God, the queen of heaven. Confused yet? That's okay. It's a lot to take in. In short, this fake miraculous conception, which, by the way, was a forgery of God's promise to Eve in Genesis chapter 3, was taken, twisted, and retold through multiple languages.
All right, so that's all I wanted to show y'all for that. So you saw I said Queen of Heaven, right? Sorry about the delay. So talking about the Queen of Heaven, right? So as you heard him say that the name gets switched around, people always tell me all the time that God had, I guess, lots of names. God doesn't have a lot of names. Satan do. He knows a lot of things, but God doesn't. And the reason why I come from the Tower of Babel. So I'm using myself, God, please don't strike me down. So let's say y'all know me as y'all do. You know me as Julius, right? But let's say, God, you change all y'all languages. Well, I'm not going to be Julius to you and your culture, to you and your culture, so forth, so forth. So now, I don't know, the great Adam, the great Bob XYZ. So now people think they're different. Well, it's all the same God, which it is. It is all the same God. It's really all Satan, or Satan and his minions. But the name is changing. So people thinking that these gods and stuff are, totally different when it's not. So this Queen of Heaven, we're gonna read about, and I'm gonna show y'all that Easter is actually in the Bible. It's not meant for Passover or anything like that, right? So this is Acts chapter 12, verse 3 and 4.
And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
All right, so we talked about it last time about the moon, how the moon doesn't follow the sun. We talked about it a couple times ago when I was talking about the way the calendar is, right? So of course Easter couldn't be that date, but the seed says the days of unleavened bread, and then you got Easter, right? So why not use Passover in that part, right? Well, the problem is, or why you wouldn't use Passover, because it's not Easter, because Easter's going to come soon, because you know how it changes. It changes by the moon. So, of course, Herod and them, they're aware of all this. These people are aware of this. We're not aware of that, because that's the only time Easter is in the Bible. So that let me know that it has to be a specific thing, and it's not Passover. Because the whole time in the Bible, you're using Passover and unleavened bread, but this one particular time you use Easter, and then before the verse it says, then were the days of unleavened bread, as if it was something after, right? So this further lets me know, right? So this is Jeremiah, and it's talking about the Queen of Heaven, what they was doing in Jeremiah time from Babylon or the Babylonians. But this is Jeremiah chapter 44, verses 15 through 19. Mm-hmm.
Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt, in Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. And when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her, and pour out drink offerings unto her without our men.
All right, so during this time, Jeremiah is talking to the females, right? No disrespect, ladies. We're not banning on nobody, but during this time, the women were like, we're going to do what we want to do, right? And they was making out cakes and saying, we don't care about what you're talking about. We're going to keep offering this stuff to the Queen of Heaven. Well, I just showed y'all the video who they call the Queen of Heaven, right? This ain't the Holy Spirit. This ain't nobody that's on God's team. This is a host or something from heaven that they're worshiping, whether it's a fallen angel or a demon. But this Queen of Heaven is somebody that they're, like I said, they're giving cakes to, or whatever the case may be, but they're praising, because giving cakes is also a way that they serve God. So I didn't know that. Kind of like birthday cakes, right? It's a way that they serve and offer things to God, right? Just to confirm it, this is during David's time in 2 Kings. So this is 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 16. And they're doing the same thing, worshiping things in heaven.
And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal.
They like cows. I'm not really big with cows no more. I'm about to stop eating beef, because I gotta get away from that cow thing. But it says all the host of heaven, right? But they're not talking about God. They're not serving him, right? Because you can't serve God and the angels. You serve God. He made the angels. God get all the credit. But if you serving different things, clearly you're not serving God, right? So this is us living in deception. Is that the first verse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to show you some names that we live in deception that you see all the time that you probably don't recognize. Let me just point them out. So this is Jeremiah 9, chapter 9, verses 4 through 8.
Take ye heed, every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother. For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. and they will deceive everyone his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will melt them, and try them. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people? Their tongue is as an arrow shot out, it speaketh deceit, one speaketh peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in heart he layeth his weight.
All right, so it's telling you everybody that you're around, a lot of things you see, a lot of things the way you live in. There's a lot of deceit going on, right? What's that picture that's after that? All right, so everybody, well, I guess everybody's of color, right? That's what they call it, a color, right? Everybody heard of the ghetto? All right, what's the ghetto? Anybody know what the ghetto is? I guess it's the poor property section.
Oh, the ghetto's
Section 8.
Section 8.
Section
What'd
8.
you say?
Apartments, I think Bill.
Gotcha. What'd you say?
the ghetto has always been a group of the same people clogged into one place.
Okay, cool.
Right, because we call it the ghetto because right now it's just associated with black people.
As they always do.
Before the ghetto was the Germans, the Jews, all of them had their own ghetto.
Right.
They were all concentrated in one place.
Right.
You know, so that's what caused the ghetto.
I got you.
We just latest ones that have the name.
Okay, so cool. Check this out. When I was a kid, I was the ghetto. I lived in the ghetto, black, I guess, right? But the crazy part about it is, before you said that, this is the first time I've ever heard somebody say that, right? I mean, I've done my research and learned, but when I found out the definition was in the dictionary, I never heard nobody say that white neighborhood is a ghetto. Even I went to a trailer park. They were like, no, the ghetto is just a trailer park, right? The ghetto was only referred to as black people, right? Who's supposed to be, quote unquote, the real Jews. So this is the definition of ghetto. This is out of a dictionary. It's not my dictionary. You can go look it up. It says a quarter of a city in which Jews were formerly required to live. What you just said, right? You said the Jews or the Germans. Then the next one says a quarter of a city in which members of a minority group live, especially because of social, legal, or economic pressure, right? So I just found it funny that they were, you know, in the ghetto, and that they would say, you know, that the Jews, and then now they say that we're in the ghetto. But we're not supposed to be the real Jews, but we're in the ghetto. I think that's kind of strange. Because I've never heard that used for Asians, nothing. I've never heard it used for nobody else until I came across the dictionary. So now I was like, okay, the Jews and then us. I said, what's the comparison there? What's that, right? So y'all probably seen this before. This looks like the Jewish star, right? Right? You never seen that before? Nobody never seen a Jewish star before?
Well, yeah, but not this.
Oh, not in that form, right? Well, you're probably seeing the one that's on the further left, right? All right, it says 666. They got 6 points, 6-sided hexagons, 6 triangles. All they hidden in plain sight. The Jewish people made a country. Like, that wasn't a thing. They made a country, they made a flag. I didn't know you make your own flag and you can create your own country. So we wanted to right now. Just this group of people, we can just, we call it Balloon City. We got to come up with a flag, we have a rules. But when you do that, whatever rights you had tied to another ethnicity, you lose it. So let's say you was Asian or African, you lose that. Because they told us in order for to get reparations, we have to prove that we were this and that. And it was going to come up with a flag. But if we do that, we lose everything attached to black. So let's say you're the black first quarterback, or you lose that because you're not black no more. Right? So in order for you to get something, you got to, get rid of something. But this same sign, right? This is supposed to be the Jewish sign, which is crazy, right? Okay, let's say it is the Jewish sign, because they say this is the Star of David, but there's nowhere in the Bible that says the Star of David. They talk about it. They talk about a Star of Moloch and a Star of Remphan, but never Star of David. But let's say this is a Jewish star. Let's say this is a Star of David. Why is everybody using it? Hinduism, Catholicism, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, Freemasons, the Mormons. I gotta talk to my Mormon friends when I go play basketball next time. Everybody's using the star, right? Doesn't make any sense though, because if it's just for the Jews and for David, and then they say the New Testament, the Jews don't matter, everybody's all alike. This is really irrelevant, right?
But that's not really a sign, the star, more so than.
Well, it's you see that ugly guy at the bottom right there, the bottom. His name is I guess his name is Remphan. He's some type of god. This is the star of him. And then you got the 8-pointed star and the 5-pointed stars, which is the star of Moloch or whatever, the little cow worshiping god that they show you. So this is what I mean, right? They'll put this in our face and not know. So you saw when the video he was talking about the whore of Babylon. Well, that's the outfit that B has on. So then she also has this little cow outfit on, right? He was like, well, she's showing homage to an African deity. Which is the African deity is called Hathor, right? It's like a goddess of family, love, fertility, XYZ. The problem is that we serve God, there are no other gods. We can't put no other gods out here. So then you see right there, it's called the Metropolis. That's that robot. You see that star thing in the back? It's a pentagram. What does a pentagram got to do with a robot? But then they make B, she uses the same outfit, right, on her stages and concerts. So this is even crazier, right? I just watched a little bit of this movie. It's called Metropolis. It's the same image from this. It's an old movie. It's even crazier. What does the robot got to do with a vampire? Because that's Dracula right there. What you sucking? Oil? Because ain't no blood in this robot. I mean, it's really weird, right? But all of it is, like I said, satanic worship. It's a cult. It's done in front of you, right, to desensitize you because you don't know no better. When you get away from God, these are the things that you get mixed up in. I'm guilty as charged of being and stuff like this. Not a cult or anything. This is the cow god or Hathor that B was dressed up as, right? This is in this form. I guess it's like an Ark of a Covenant, but Ark of the Covenant don't have those cobras and things like that on it. But I don't know what this is, right? But this is some type of deity. But you just saw when it was talking about making cows. They made 2 calves. I don't know what's up with them and cows, but I'm over cows now. I don't want no more beef. I think I'm just strictly lamb.
I thought that's the one that they made.
Moses?
Yeah, with Moses.
Yeah, they probably
The calf they made that.
they probably did because the golden calf is, like I said, the calf has multiple things. So in Hinduism, I'm trying to think what the name is, but you got this one is Hathor, you got Moloch, you got it's just so many. But the cow was the image because the cherubs, right? The cherubs got 4 faces. They got a face of an ox, which is a bull. They got a face of an eagle, which is a bird. They got faces of different animals. They always picking this. The bird, right? I said the bird, the eagle, right? What they do? The post office or anything is an eagle, right? I got a picture of that too. See, this is that little thing that she's supposed to be in the Hathor. Give you a better, clear picture, right? And they said people were like, they hate on me, they hating on B. Ain't nobody hating on B. I just want B to come out. She dressed like a cow. Like I said, I'm over cows. I'm over cows. I'm done. Chick-fil-A, I'm done. I'm done with it all. I'm over cows, right? So this is the deception I be talking about. So this is Gary Webb, somebody who exposed the CIA for doing drugs. I told you can't do nothing to the CIA. They said he committed suicide and shot himself in the face 2 times. Let me tell you something. He even had a switch. Oh man, his face is made out of steel. I don't know how you shoot yourself 2 times, but whatever the case may be. But that's not going to be talked about, right? So we'll go to this next picture. So this is what I'm talking about, like more deception, right? The things they teach you. When I was in school, I did learn about evolution. So evolution talks about the stars and the sun being before the earth. In the biblical sense, it's backwards. The earth before the sun and stars. Earth covered in water. They say the earth covered in fire. Oceans first, dry land. Satan says dry land in the oceans, right? And the crazy part about it is, I'm gonna come back to this in a second once we go further in. God lets us think that our wisdom is higher than it is, right? Even let's say God is stupid, right? The stupidest part of God is way smarter than the smartest part of us. I think God to us is like us being like the smartest termites or the smartest blade of grass. Like there's no way that you can compare the intelligence level, right? But this is what I mean about deception. So this is interesting. So this is people reading the NIV. I went to a couple of churches that use the NIV, but they're like, why do you use the King James? Well, I think the King James is the most accurate, and I'm gonna show you why. So y'all are heard of David and Goliath, right? David kills Goliath. So check this out. There's a 2 Samuel 21 verses 19. It says, and there was again a battle in God with the Philistines, where Elihan, the son of Jeroram, a Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Goliath, right? The Gideite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. So this says that Elihan, he slew this behemoth. He slew the brother of Goliath. In NIV, it's something totally different. It says in another battle with the Philistines of God, Elinan, son of Jeroram, the Bethlehemite, killed Goliath. We all know that's not true. So that was a problem. So even the King James version wrong and NIV. Now, mind you, almost all the versions, not King James, say that. It says that this particular person killed Goliath. King James said killed the brother of Goliath. So now, one, you get rid of David's story, right? That means David's story is not real. But the Bible has a lot of these issues like this. So I'm going to do it one time for y'all one day when we're just going to talk about false scriptures or scriptures they took it out, right? So I don't know why they showed that again. This is autism, right? Do you see that? Did you see that thing right there? Illinois just says 5 from 1992 1993, and in 2001 2002 it says 3,802. That's a 75,000% increase. That's not by chance, right? That's not by accident. That's because they're killing the kids, right? So, for instance, if y'all don't know about autism comes from when they're giving these kids these poor vaccines, right? But the only way they get it is if the kids get a certain set of vaccines before they're 2. I don't know what happens when the baby goes past 2, but it must be different because even when you watch movies and shows, 2 is always a significant number with children. When around Moses' time, they were killing all the babies under 2, right? All the males. When Christ was around, it was killing babies under 2. If you ever seen this movie called Baby Geniuses, right? The kids had all the information, but once they turned 2, they went to the other side and they lost it all. Something happens to babies that's different once they turn 2. But they got to give kids vaccines before they 2. I see a lot of children. Some of them I've got friends. I'm like, man, that baby got autism. Can't tell that to nobody. Want to know why that's their child? They're gonna feel some kind of way. But the problem is just a vaccine. So a vaccine always has the poison in it. If y'all don't know this is why kids are allergic to peanut butter, stuff like that. They put peanut butter in it, so your body sees peanut butter, it's going to react to peanut butter. Like, hey, we're not supposed to have this in here. This is how you kids. God didn't make you allergic to strawberries or allergic to cherries. They're doing this, right? But it's a deception. So you take your kids to these places and stuff like that, you'll have all kinds of problems, right? So this next picture I'm gonna show y'all, it scares me, it gives me nightmares, but I don't think it's gonna scare y'all. It scares me because it's just I can't believe somebody come in the house like this. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 12 through 13.
Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived.
So it says you follow Christ, you're gonna suffer persecution, which I suffer all the time. I tell people, are you pork? Oh, what you Muslim? No. What you a vegan? No. You in a cult? I just don't eat pork no more. Is it a big crime? I mean, you out here doing God knows worse, but you're gonna suffer that. People make fun of me all the time, call me all kinds of names. They get mad at work. I don't want to celebrate Christmas. Or, you don't do that. Huh? You don't do this. You don't do that. I mean, I do stuff, but I try to invite y'all to stuff. But y'all don't want to come. Y'all want to do the pagan stuff. No problem, right? They're saying the people who do bad, right, and they don't have Christ, they gonna get it worse, a lot worse. And this is the type of stuff I don't like because when they do that, they implement the children. The children are the future, right? I was a child. I was brainwashed. So if I have children, and the more children I talk to, I don't want them to be around stuff like this. This picture is crazy. I don't know what that thing is. He got tattoos. I don't know if he has a bra. He's in a dress. He got the devil horse. It's crazy, right? It's just really weird. But the kids don't know because they're peer, right? And we can't. Let's say the kid do know. The kid like that's crazy. You know what happened? Somebody check the kid. Oh, that's wrong. You shouldn't talk about that. Nah, kid, you was right. That is crazy. He needs to get out the room immediately, right? But we don't talk about those things. So I'm gonna go in a little more depth. This is Ephesians chapter 5. So Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 through 12. And it talks about more of the disobedience and what happens. And I'm gonna show y'all more things of deception and disobedience when you're not following God.
Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us as an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness and covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an adulterer, hath any inheritance of the kingdom of Christ and of God. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Be not ye therefore partakers with them. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness of truth. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
So it's saying it's even a shame to speak of those things that's done in secret, right? Like it's bad stuff. But it's also talking about, like I said, the disobedience and what happened. Like I said, the more we do stuff that's not against God, it's caused a problem. Like I said, let no man deceive you with vain words. I didn't know what vain meant when I was a kid. I thought it meant like something really, really bad. Don't say God's name in vain, X, Y, Z. Like, what does that even mean? Did I curse or X, Y, Z? But vain just means useless. So it's saying don't use useless words, right? Because the useless words is the part of the deception, things that don't matter. So let me see what this is. So this is supposed to be, I guess that's Richard Nixon, right? He's supposed to be talking to the people that's on the moon. First of all, he's on a landline phone. So I'm trying to figure out who put the landline phone on the moon before you even talk to them, even had this conversation. And you had a cell phone, at least it at least been better. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. That would at least been better. But not only that, if you peek, the picture of the moon is already in the background. Like, how do you... And mind you, I know it shows Instagram or whatever, but if you go look this up, the picture, they got it from different angles, and it's like, yeah, people are like, we believe on, on the moon, let alone Apollo. Out of all the names you name a rocket ship or whatever you call it, it's the name of a Greek god, a Roman god. Why you couldn't name it Richard Nixon, you're gonna name it Apollo? Like, that's kind of weird to me. But I was telling you earlier about the bird, how they do this thing. So we'll think somebody's like America's fighting Russia, Ukraine. They all use the bird. They all the same people, right? On the scale to us, they may look different. Like people talking about Russia, Ukraine. They both Russians, right? They're like, oh, this they fight this and that. Everybody from Ukraine is a Russian. Like you're just fighting other Russians. But the problem is, like I said, we always get the narrative of the deception, right? You might see like CNN or some of those news channels, but my brother, I don't know where he be finding. He be on YouTube. He be having people that be in the trenches and over there and overseas, and they be actually showing you what's going on, right? So they'll talk about the Jewish and I guess that's Palestine war. So they'll talk about them all the time and saying, they was messing their country X, Y, Z. But did anybody know the Jewish would control the area? So they only give them water like twice a week, and they only give them electricity like once. See, that's something they don't tell you. But when you got somebody that's inside, doing the research, or somebody that lives there, these are the things that, saying nobody wants to talk about. This next picture. I think we had a solar eclipse a couple years ago, right? 2018, something like that. Oh, it's solar eclipse never happened a million times. This is Google. It says it's a popular misconception that the phenomenon of a total eclipse of the sun is a rare occurrence. Quite the contrary. Approximately once every 18 months on average, a total solar eclipse is visible from someplace on the Earth's surface. The two totalities for every 3 years. So they told us when that solar eclipse happened, we ain't never seen this and that. But Google just said it happens all the time, which will make sense if the sun got to pass the moon at some point, right? Whether you believe in a flat Earth, globe Earth, whatever, the sun got to pass the moon at some point in time. So why would it not happen? But they'll tell us this is a once in a lifetime show, because if y'all was like looking around when that happened, certain people didn't see it the same way. Some people couldn't see it from the side that you were seeing it from, and they didn't see it from that. So obviously that means this may happen a lot. But when the media and things like that is controlling what's going on, there's a problem. This is a church wall in Russia. You see the people, they're black. St. Peter, St. Luke, whoever, they're black. This is in Russia, right? Why y'all not telling us this? Like, there's no white people, nothing against white people. There's no white people in these pictures, nothing. This is a wall in Russia, and I'm pretty sure Russia is predominantly white, right? But this is a church wall in Russia. First of all, it's a church wall is insane, right? This is actually in a church that they go to. Probably white people go to this church, but why would you have black figures if they're not black? It makes no sense. But you're not going to tell us that, right? And I think you're not going to tell us that because I believe that we the Jews. This guy, when I found this out, I was so upset. I found it out years ago. When I was a kid, they tried to make us celebrate Kwanzaa when I was in school. Come to find out, this guy, I tell y'all, the FBI, the CIA agents, they're terrible. He created Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa's not even real. This is crazy. They say, I created Kwanzaa, laughed Ron Kerrigan. Like a teenager who just divulged a deeply held, precious secret. People think it's African, but it's not. I wanted to give black people a holiday of their own, so I came up with Kwanzaa. I said it was African because, black people in this country wouldn't celebrate it. They knew it was American. Also, I put it around Christmas because I knew that's when a lot of black people would be partying. Mm-hmm. You did what? And you see at the bottom it says FBI informant. Get him out of here, right? Because I'm a child. As not having culture, no roots, I'm kind of holding on to Kwanzaa. I'm not so sure how it goes, but you had the little red, black, green colors in the candle. I said, we see what we can do. This is made up. This come on, man. This is crazy. This stuff right here bothers me, right? So like I said, I'm gonna talk about the wisdom of God, and I got an example. I talk to anybody who's an evolutionist or whatever, because I think it's one of the funniest things in the world. So wisdom of God. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 18 through 20. You good? Go ahead.
Okay. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in the world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain.
So it's saying that God said that even his foolishness, right? Like I said, is above anything that we think is smart. So he used their own craftiness. So when you think you're smart, it's a problem. I had this friend who always arguing about evolution, still cool to this day. Oh man, the evolution, this and that, we spirits, God is black and it touched the stars. He got all this evolution stuff. I said the problem with evolution is, right, in order for a star to form, it's other elements that have to be combined, which you can't that are not combined to make a star, right? He's like, oh no, you're saying it wrong. So then I thought about this verse, right? And God said the craftiness. So evolution, I guess it was like bacteria or something. It was on a rock, and then it went to the water, and then it turned to like a fish or egg. It was like a fish or something like that. How about the water's a frog? Then it turns into I don't know, maybe a dog. Then a dog turns to a monkey, so forth, right? The problem is that during the evolution process, right? What is the ruling out of something getting stronger? What is the ruling out of something getting better? So, for instance, let's say it is a dog that just come out of nowhere, right? How does this dog make another dog? Where do other dogs come from? When do the other dogs stop being dogs? Like it's so many rules because we all came from apes. Are we still not apes? And what defines the classification? Well, God made something really, really small to bust this whole theory up. So, anybody know about termites? Y'all probably know termites eat wood. What I didn't know is termites eat wood. But I didn't know is termites can't digest wood, right? So they look at your face like, what? Yeah. So termites have another creature living inside of it that does the digesting, right? But the problem would be in evolution, who came first? Because the thing that inside the termite that needs to digest wood, it can't live without the termite. The termite can't digest food without the other creature living inside of it. So when they just walk down the street, hey, yo, bro, I'm having a show, man, I'm gonna be eating wood, man. I can't digest it. But can you do something for me? Oh, I digest wood. Let me help it inside you. That's not how that works. And there wouldn't have been no way that's possible without God making that like that from the beginning. That little small thing shows how foolish man is. Because like I said, I thought it was crazy. Everybody thought termites just eat wood, which they do, but they can't digest it. It's a whole nother critter inside of it that does the other process. But like I said, through evolution, how did these two things by chance come about? And let alone it's bajillions of termites. So how did these things come about? Has to be something. It's like the chicken and egg problem. You're always gonna have a problem because something has to come first. Always got to come first, right? And that's one of them. So this is God talking about foolishness and how man called it foolish for God to let Christ die on the cross. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 25 through 31.
Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and base things of the world, and things which are despised, hath God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. But of him are ye in Christ Jesus, who of God is made unto us wisdom, and righteousness, and sanctification, and redemption, that according as it is written, he that glorifieth, let him glory in the Lord.
God said that no flesh shall glory his presence. God said you ain't about to get no shine of him here, right? And it says that he also has confounded things which are mighty by using weak things. A plain example is David and Goliath. I'm pretty sure Goliath, I expect that rock to go through his head and kill him. Because he sees a little kid, he sees the smallest person, right? Because everybody else got swords, they got big artillery. This man picked up some stones on the side of the street with a slingshot. You're would be what somebody would see as the weakest form of God, and God uses this to show how weak the strength is of the strongest of man, because that's how man think they are. Same thing with wisdom. Like I said, you can be smart. People that be like, I got a college degree. It's always baffled me, right? Somebody got a college degree. Who came up with the college, and who was the first person to start giving out degrees? right? Because it has to be somebody in the building to be like, I'm the smartest scientist, or I'm the smartest engineer, XYZ. Let me get the degrees out. And you have to come up with the classification, right? But the problem is, like I said, y'all can come up with all these classifications and stuff like that, but you still have problems in the world that you can't fix, right? You can't, they imitate a lot of stuff. They do make a lot of clones, but they haven't duplicated nothing. Nothing. Not the strongest silk known to man is spider silk. They can't duplicate anything. They can't make, regrow food, nothing. Everything they have to use is already something that God has already on this earth, right? So this is another deception. Medicine, right? Medicine, 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 medicine. So this is Galatians chapter 5, verse 20, and Revelation 18, verses 23. Galatians one first.
Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies.
All right, that word witchcraft, I highlighted it for a reason. Now you're going to read Revelation 18, 23.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by the sorceries were all nations deceived.
See that word sorceries and witchcraft, right? Check this out. So that word in the Strong's Concordance, both of those words, is G5331. The G stands for, that word is called pharmakia. The definition says medication, pharmacy, that is by an extension of magic or sorcery or witchcraft, right? So sorcery, witchcraft, this is what they call pharmakia, right? So I was like, you know what? Maybe it is medicine because it does say it's medication. So let me go try to find medicine in the Bible. I found it. Proverbs 17:22.
A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones.
So a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, right? But this one also says medication. So medicine, medication, they're necessarily the same thing, right? Because medication is a form of magic. This is why they, like I said, words matter. Check this out. This is Proverbs 17:22. That word, right? It says H1456. It's geha. That word for medicine, it says cure. There's no medication. There's no process. When it's God, it's a cure. When it's man, there's a problem. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This right here says the word pharmacy originates from ancient Greek. Pharmakia meaning the use of drugs or the preparation of drugs. This term itself derives from pharmakan meaning a drug, charm, enchantment, or poison. The word's root is likely pre-Greek with the exact meaning of the original term debated. Right here it says pharmakia, the Greek, this was the border term for the activity prepared for use of drugs, right? You go down the Latin, it doesn't matter. They all say pharmacy, pharmacy, pharmacy. So you're telling me the people supposed to be helping us in life called the pharmacy. Out of all the words you choose in the world, you pick the one that stands for witchcraft? That's really odd. It's a lot of words. You could have called it just like baloney. I'd take that. Like you just heard me about, I got my baloney, man. You said pharmakia or pharmacy, right? But you know what it is, right? And I'm gonna tell you why I know they know what it is. Look at this. It says these medications below are toxic to the kidneys. Do not take Advil, Aleve, Anaprox, Artec, BC powder, Bactrim, Bactrim, Celebrex, Cataflam. All these are the medicines they give you. Almost everything is on here. Almost every single thing. I think the one Tylenol wasn't on here, which is like acetaminophenes. That wasn't on here. Daypro, naproxen, all these things. When you have an injury, you go to the doctor. This is what they give you. So you telling me the medicine you giving me, okay, it's supposed to heal me, but it's destroying my kidney? I don't want to take this medicine. And then they get mad when you want to take it. You want to take the medicine. I think it's good for you. I don't want to take it, bro. I don't want nothing you got. I really don't want nothing you got. Because how do you expect me to get better and trust you when every single thing that you, naproxen, right? All these things that you're giving us is actually poisoning us and hurting us. Check this out. I shop at Mom's Organic because I'm just trying to go organic food. I didn't know this. When I learned this, changed my life. 4959, 4-digit code start with the number 4. It means that the item was treated with chemicals and pesticides. I had somebody tell me, oh yeah, I get the ones like potatoes and stuff with the skin because it's only on the skin. What? What? It's about to soak into this fruit or vegetable. You tripping. Whatever they spray, you gonna get it. That's just how this works. Your skin is like the fruit skin. It absorbs whatever, right? You put grease on your skin, your body absorbs it, clogs your pores. That's why you break out. Because your body can't breathe, right? That's what you're supposed to use oil. I use a jojoba oil, but when you use grease, even grease in your hair, it clogs your hair. right? It clogs the spores in it. The next one, it says a 5-digit code, starting with the number 8. Lets you know they're looking for a GMO crop, right? Which is a spliced thing, right? You may have something that they make all kinds of things, but they're taking the original seed, which they do have, and they splice it with something else. And this is why you get all these shaped fruits and nothing. But the crazy part about it is they sell this in the store. I don't want it. No offense. My brother, his dad bought some mangoes, and I've been eating organic food for about the last 2 years. He bought some mangoes. I was sick immediately. I'm gonna take a whole bottle of black seed oil. It was that much of a difference because it was sprayed with pesticides.
Didn't it peel your mouth?
Man, it was destroying me, man. It wouldn't even move in the blender right. It was just all messed up. I was like, the blender don't even want to take it. I don't want this no more, right? This one says eaten by when possible. A 5-digit code starting with the number 9 means that it was organically grown. I don't got the stickers on the fruit, but I promise y'all they all got number 9 on it. 'Cause that's where I shop at. I don't go nowhere else when it's fruit, stuff like that. I just won't do it. And I mean, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying my diet is the cleanest and the greatest, but every time I learn something, I got to go because I'm learning the side effects or what it is. Some things ain't even food. It's just something they just made up. It's like a science experiment and they give it to you. FDA prove it. The Food Drug Administration and the people that run the poison control are the same people. Oh yeah, it's cool, man. We got the poison for you, got the antidote, right? It's cool. Just go ahead and put it out there. Nah, this is crazy. It says, I know it's cliche to say so, but this hospital was charging parents $39.95 to hold their newborn baby, a really tight microcosm of capitalism. So I'm not sure if y'all can see. You see where it says skin to skin after C-section? They charge you for when the baby gets brung to the mother. That's a bill. That's a price on the bill. And you can look this up. Don't just think this was off of Facebook or Instagram. You can look it up. And it says because it's dangerous, so they got to do something to make sure the baby is safe to touch their mother. They're charging you to hold your own baby. People don't even know that. Now I need everything out of the hospital. I saw this video. Dude was taking everything.
He was like, if you got it, would take all that.
He took all the diapers, everything they had in the hospital. He took the gloves, the needles. He like all this going to be. So my hospital bill is $40,000, $10,000, whatever. They charge you to touch your own child. They don't care about you, right? I was telling this girl at my job about sunburn, right? Sunburn really is good for you, right? Because it actually stops you from getting cancer. It says sunburn is not caused by your skin cells being damaged by the sun and dying. Rather, it's their DNA being damaged and the cells them killing themselves so they don't turn into cancer. So actually, when you're getting sunburn, it's actually because your body's trying to stop it from getting cancer, so it's starting to kill the cells off. And you know what happens? Your skin come right back. Yeah, you got to go through that period where it's a little sore, whatever case may be. But a lot of the times it comes from like lotion and stuff because you putting something on your skin that's going to react to the sun. They don't tell you that. You want to know why? Because what you read about, smelling good, not looking ashy. Hey, bro, use some oil. Nah, I got to smell this fragrance, this and that. I put lotion on my hands now. It feels like somebody burnt my hands with like just straight alcohol, straight venom.
I'm gonna add a little bit to that. I work in dermatology, so I see like all kinds of skin issues, etc.
Skin guru.
I was more touching on the part where he talked about the lotion, saying that be careful about what you put in your body. We have this thing called a Levulon stick. We use it to treat precancerous spots that appear on people's skin, and they got to incubate for 90 minutes, and they can't be in the sun for the next 48 to 72 hours. Because once you put this medicine on, they put you under a blue light, some type of UV treatment that reacts with the medicine. If you go outside within 48 hours and you don't cover yourself from the sun, you will blister up. And I'm talking about like you will have your whole arm blister up like how with full of water. Like how you get a tiny blister, that's how your whole arm or face is going. Yeah, you start inflaming and stuff like that. So it's like, if they put that in the medicine that they're using to treat you, what aren't they putting in micro doses and what you use on a daily basis?
Like I found out about soap. If it doesn't say soap on the bottle, it's not soap. It's detergent. No matter what kind of soap it is, body wash, whatever. Because soap is short for like saponification, which is the process of how you make soap. But if it don't say soap, you're using detergent, which would make sense why I'm having a dryness of skin, X, Y, Z. I mean, now I don't got that. I use Dr. Squash. I don't use it. Just use it. Dr. Squash is amazing. But all these chemicals and products is damaging the skin. So
that's like lotion too, because if you go to the store and just look at all the big brand name lotions, whatever, you look on the back of them, they got 15, 20, 30, 50 plus ingredients, and you can't even pronounce more than half of them.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that you were a kid, right? You always say you need lotion. You're ashy. People in my room like, you don't wear lotion? I do not. I put on jojoba oil, right? It is the closest thing to the natural oil of your skin.
I put on shea there's like a shea oil or whatever that you can use.
Yeah, shea butter cool. Everybody, it's a little different depending on who you are. I can't use that. I gotta use oil, shea butter. It kind of burn my hands. It's like I'm dealing with eczema, fighting that all. But I learned about eczema. It's not a skin disease because my kidneys dirty. I'm always drinking soda, so I'm getting paid for it. Because what happened is that your body's sending stuff to the skin or to the fat. That's the safest place when they can't do nothing with it. Like, look, we don't know what to do, bro. We're gonna send it to the skin. Oh, I got a pimple. I know this because when I eat something bad, like let's say I eat a Mr. Good Bar, I get a pimple within like an hour, no problem. Boop. Yeah, because my body's trying to fight it back because I don't really eat that type of stuff no more, right? But you will know. I tell you all the time, don't go so much about what your doctor say. Just look at yourself. When you try to lose weight, don't go on the scale and your clothes feel a little different. You feel a little different. Like I know, I used to be a husky guy. I was like, boy, it was hard to make that turnaround fade away, boy. I was fat. I had to lose a little bit. I lose a little bit of weight. I'm over there real. Like, you smoke? I mean, I do, but that ain't the problem. I was 200, now I'm 250. That's the problem. I need to change that. And you see the Walgreens sign is like I said, like they call it a cauldron or a witch pot. But y'all wanted to hear about the pork, right? Here you go. Check my girl out. Yeah, the pork.
If you don't eat pork, I got bad news for you. I'm at Publix right now, and I'm gonna show you something. You see this ingredient right here? Monodiglyceride. It's in almost every single bread product in Publix, which means that you're eating pork if you eat bread from Publix. Look at it right there. It's in all of these. Bro, I can't eat nothing. But some of these right here actually don't have it. This is the Cuban bread, and it's safe. Look, you see the ingredients? This one is good too. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you need to actually read. Oh, wait. Let me show you something else. Okay, now I'm in this section, the hosted. You see that right there? Mono and diglyceride? See right here, it says
I find that in my crackers, bro.
including
You might.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you if it's actually from plants or pork. More than likely, it will be from pork. And the crazy thing about it is that it's not just bread, it's cakes, it's cookies, it's crackers.
Oh man, nah, I'm sick. Keeper cakes, man.
Wendy's bread got it. The only one that I saw that didn't have it was Five Guys. But it's insane how they're just sneaking pork into all
Nah, don't need no Five Guys.
Watch this video.
Man, I had a sandwich the other night.
Stop sneaking pork in my food. That way I watch it. Okay, bye.
So,
And
yeah.
make sure you share this with a friend who doesn't eat pork. That way they know. Bye.
So that's how I got caught. I ate some Wendy's. She said this in the Wendy's bread. And that day, something was really telling me not to go to Wendy's. I don't know why I picked Wendy's. That just wouldn't be fat. I wanted a double Dave. I just wanted a double Dave. Even when I was in there, it was just like, you shouldn't be eating this. But you know what? My desires caught the best of me. And then when I heard that, I was like, they got me. They put it in the bread. It's crazy.
They got the ingredients. They're supposed to have the ingredients of their stuff on their websites, right?
Yeah, but the problem is they do got the ingredients. So like she just showed you, it shows that mono and glyceride, but you don't. But now you need to figure out what that is. See, we stopped at that. Like I tell you all the time when it says what it say gelatin, right? Mm-hmm. Gelatin is crushed bones because it's good for glue to put it out of candy. The problem is they don't tell you where it came from. So I just don't take the risk because it could be from cows. Because sometimes they make from cows, they make from other animals, but 9 times 10 is from pork because pork is a lot cheaper. It's easy to get it, X, Y, Z. But you don't know because they don't always specify or go in detail in the particulars what it is. Now, some of the Jewish food and the Muslim food, if it do say like, it'll say gelatin, it'll say like kosher, and it'll say gelatin, it'll say beef gelatin. So it'll specify it's not from pork. But when it just says gelatin, or like you said, monoglyceride, you don't know. It could be from plants though. Like everything, the Wendy's one, it could be from plants, but it could be from pork. And if it comes from pork, that means they right, and I don't want it. I don't want nothing to do with it. So no more Wendy's. I should go Wendy's, smack everything off the counter. But you know what? They don't know behind the counter. They're not doing that. But the fact that they putting everything in pork, that even further lets me know, because I don't think you need pork to make bread. I mean, you make bread all the time in the pork, right? But it lets me know that you're trying to poison, you're trying to defile people because you know it's wrong. That's the only thing I think of. Because what was the point? What was the point of putting a piece of bacon inside the? You already gave me bacon on there, but I'm already getting the bacon. Bacon, how much bacon do you want me to have? You know what I'm saying? Which is even crazier, right? My friend, he said he came across some marijuana, and on the back of the package, one of the ingredients was gelatin, which is pork. What you need to put pork in marijuana for? I've been saying, hey, this is true story though, really true story, right? And I was just like, yeah, you laughing? We wake up like, oh, that's diabolical right there. But when I think about it though, when I was younger, weed was really frowned upon. Now it's not. Like it's almost like they want everybody to do it. So it's like, yeah. So it might make sense, but this is the thing though. If pork is everywhere, Randy, Randy, his
pork and marijuana.
hey, listen, they might just ooze like the fat. I don't know. It was, and we thought,
Mix it with the oil.
and we thought it was just a joke, but like you read it, it showed like the THC levels, and it was one of them. My friend, his mom, she real big on coffee. He came to the store one day. One of the coffee packages he had, that thing had pork in it. It was like pork something, and it said jealous, and it had pork. I said, in coffee? You still stuck with the marijuana.
My man said he's sick of smoking that bacon pack.
So is this. If they can put pork and marijuana, why isn't it in your vegetables, in your lettuce?
It might be.
Tomatoes?
It might be.
It might be, yeah.
They can put it in
That's what the different codes is for.
Code number 3 got to bacon.
But they do gotta follow regulations and stuff like that. So there is things that do gotta pass XYZ, because even though I shop at Mom's and it's an organic store, they have a regimen where they got approved. So when you go there, it's like, I think it says like they banned like 200 or something different type of ingredients, which is true. But I still find stuff in Mom's that ain't good for you. So just because it say organic, it don't mean, like, you know how they be having like almond milk and oat milk. He had some before, and like, you know, if you know about ingredients, the first ingredient is the most. So it goes out from the most to least. It was like mostly oil, like vegetable oil, literally in milk. This milk, he had like, oatmeal milk, or almond milk. He had some milk.
I think
was
it was almond milk.
it was almond milk or oat milk or something like that. But I told him, I was like, that ain't good. He's like, man, you told me this. And he looked on the back of the car. He was glowed because he had been drinking it for like the last, I don't know,
My whole life.
or so. Yeah, whole life. See, I didn't know that.
never really had cow.
But I was living with him and he was drinking it for me. I was like, you do might want to check the back of that box.
That's what they do with the butter though. Like all the whole aisle of butter. It's not butter, bro. It's margarine. The only actual butter that's on that shelf, if you go to just Walmart alone, is the Irish cream or the Irish.
Now you get goat
butter.
You get goat butter.
Yeah, well, I mean goat butter too, but like all
It's expensive though.
All the rest of it is like margarine because it goes from the.
Yeah, but it's the thing though. Remember I said pharmacy, right? Pharmacy, right? It's a dope game. It's a hustle. I got to figure out how can I get this as stretch it as possible, as much till I can, to make about as much money. So let me give you an example. The butter I buy is usually $7.99, $8.99 for 2 sticks. Most stores, it's goat butter though, right? But most stores, butter is like for 4 sticks, maybe $6. You know what I'm saying? So you got double, and you pay less than me, right? But it's because you're stretching it. It's the same thing how they used to do, like how they doing drugs. I don't know if y'all know this. Cocaine, right, is the expensive drug. Everybody can't afford it, right? But people could overdose on it. When they made crack, the purpose of making crack was for a cheaper drug, but it was also made to not overdose. So we gonna make it to the point where when we cut it, we can't overdose, but you also structure your money. So let's say you had a thing of cocaine that's worth $30,000. When you cut a baking soda, you can make 2. 2 can turn to 4. So you structure your money. They're doing the same thing, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? For instance, if I got pork, why not? If I got hamburgers and I'm running out of meat, why not structure pork? How you want to tell the difference? Yeah. You wasn't here when I was making it. So I can easily just keep stretching it. Same thing with sodas, juice, everything. I'm going to just stretch it. Because you don't realize a lot of this stuff is cheap. The stuff that we value, the shoes, the iPads, that's expensive. But gasoline, bullets, sugar, that stuff is cheap. I was helping my friend who I call my grandma bring in bags of sugar like this. She like, I pay like $15. I said, $15 a bag of sugar this big? Man, she on that thing making cakes. But just think about, she paid $1,500. She's selling cakes for $400. Oh, that sugar not gonna make. It might make up 300 cakes. She coming up because that's the part you don't see, the stretching part. Yeah. So if I can stretch it and get my money with and keep it, that's what doctors do. Why would I give you the cure? I'm gonna give you the pharmacy. I can give you the cure for free or $5,000, but shoot, I can have you $50,000.
So they gonna give you the poison, make you sick with the poison. They give you the cure to the poison.
Yeah, but listen, like I said, but you gotta think about it where it comes from. It comes from witchcraft, right? It's a hustler's mentality. Why would a drug dealer tell somebody stop buying drugs from you? The reason why I'm making money is because you have a problem. I would never say, hey, bro, you should have smoked weed. Nah, hey, I got more. I got it for cheap. I got it blue. I got it green. I got everything you need. Because why would I help you? My business falls. Mm-hmm. They depend on your ignorance, right?
That's like the one dude with the fat restaurant in Las Vegas. They say if you're over 350, you can eat for free.
Yeah, because you're probably gonna die anyway. And
in Las
Vegas, where if there's a scale out front too. If you're over 350, you could eat for free. It's called a heart attack grill or something.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Eat for free. You might have a heart attack, but you can eat for free.
Yeah, because listen, because you probably die inside, and they probably got some insurance paying.
They already had over 5 deaths.
Yeah, and then they go somebody down our scene, they write out like you can write so much off as taxes and things like that.
Can you imagine eating your steak and then just die?
So, like, hopefully the steak was good. All right, so this right here is talking about the rapture. The rapture's not real, y'all. There will not be no saving. There will not be no time where the lights open up and you see people just vanish away and people were left on earth.
Oh man, so that movie did lie to me.
Yeah, they all did, right? Because just think about it, right? It really doesn't. It's really weird, but I'm gonna show you where the confusion happens when they read these scriptures, right? So this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16 through 17.
For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord.
All right, so this always bothered me when I was a kid. It says the dead in Christ will rise first, but I thought y'all was in heaven. So is there like a separate group of dead in heaven and a separate group is in no, everybody's dead. Everybody's in the grave, right? Some people say that the Christians, like let's say we're Christians, say we're not Jews. That's cool. We're Christians. If we die all today, God forbid, a bomb when all we die, right? We're gonna come back and we're gonna be part of God's team to help the Jews. That's what the second coming is about. God come with the army, be part of the army to save the Jews. But they never talk about that, right? So in this scripture right here, this is Matthew. This is Christ. Christ himself telling you what's going to happen and how it's going to go down. So this is Matthew 24, verses 37 through 41.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left.
So it's talking about the days of Noah, right? So that's what he's talking about. He says, until the day of Noah, into the ark. So he says, one going to be left in the field and one going to be taken. They think the person that's taken is the person that God's calling up. Hey, it's your time. Woo. You get called up. So I'm in the field with him and God takes him. God called him up. Or if you outside and you in a boat and God take up you and not him. Hey, God love you. The problem is that that's not how it was in Noah, because remember the ones that was taken was the ones that died. People that was left was the ones that stayed, right? Somehow they get that confused. So in the book of Ezra, Ezra is talking to God, and God further lets him know what's going on. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, 15 to 24. This is in the Apocrypha. If you don't have it, it's a little red book my good brother got. I got a bunch of books with Apocrypha in it. They, you can get a Bible with it in it, so you don't have to have it separately like that. But yeah, you talk to me about that after the show. So 15 through 24, yep.
Shew me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I shew thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward toward the Almighty. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that are be dead.
The ones that left behind are the ones that are more blessed than the ones dead. As you read earlier on 15, it says, woe unto the ones shall be left. And it says, much more woe to the ones that's not left behind. So you got taken away as woes to you.
So what you're telling me here is that we all should have a friend who doesn't believe.
So you can be next to him. I mean, if that's what you want, you probably got one that don't believe. I don't know, but I mean, I guess you will know that. But at that time, though, that's the end anyway. That's going to be the time where it's going to be bad anyway. But yeah, but people just think because they're Christian, they saved. Like they'll have movies and shows like people be just flying a plane, and the pilot's a Christian. Well, the pilot each fly the plane, so God just took him out a whole plane crash. I'm like, woof! I didn't even get a chance to try to get myself saved. You just go, I'm on the plane. But the thing about it is right. The reason why the doctrine is so profound and so used is because it makes you not want to change your life. You can just live like, oh, I'm good. I'm always going to be saved. Which you're not technically going to be saved. That's just not the case. All right, this is what I was talking about earlier. So this is birthdays, right? So as I look back at my life, it's a lot of things that I realized God did to me or put me in a position where I'm at today, right? I told you I wasn't big on pork. I ate like bacon, sausage, pepperoni, stuff like that, but that's here and there. But for the most part, I was just baking like maybe on a sandwich, or guessing things. But I like turkey sausage too. It's pretty good, right? I couldn't eat shellfish. I eat shellfish. So I eat shellfish, family laughing at me. They think something wrong with me. I'm like, hey, I'm over dying. But they don't know because it was a movie called I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and the girl had a period, and she said she had cramps, but I didn't, articulate that. I thought she said crabs, and we was eating crabs. So I said I got crabs, and I'm over here. They just laughing their face off. This is not funny. I'm dying. It's really not funny, but I realized I learned the shellfish, right? And then when I was younger, I didn't really celebrate my birthday. I remember my mom. She gave me a birthday party at a place called Shakey's. I never forget it, which is now Charlie's, the alcohol liquor store. It was a pizza place, and I'll never forget it because so much stuff happened. My brother had won some money. Him and his friend was playing like the lottery or something. They won some money or whatever. But I had like all these friends in my class, and none of them show up. And then the boy I was playing with, I don't know who this kid is to this day, but he was there. We had the time of our lives. My mom never threw me another birthday party, right? But during that whole time period, I wasn't mad at my mom or anything. I didn't care about birthdays. I never cared about birthdays to the point where none of my friends even knew my birthday. And not because I never told them, it's just like I don't care about it. And I'm going to tell you the reason why birthdays are wrong, right? First of all, it's not the day you was born. I was born years ago. So my birthday comes today is not the day I was born. Other babies are born that day. I was born in a certain year, right? But number two, I tell you all the time, when you have a birthday, it's idolatry. Because most people have a birthday, it's all about them.
Glorifying yourself.
Yeah, it's always all about them, right? They always have this situation where everybody got to come see them, XYZ. When I was throwing my quote-unquote birthday parties years ago, man, it was about everybody else, really, right? I just wanted to be around people. And you know what? I kind of used that, which is kind of wrong. I used that for them to come out the house. I know they would come out because that's food. It's a party. It's going to be drinks. Not your party. I just go to a restaurant, my favorite restaurant, Benny Honda's, something like that. I go to a restaurant, and we just have a time together. But I know they would come out all because it's birthdays. You want to know why? Because when their birthday come around, they want you to celebrate them. Right? It's idolatry. I asked this girl we celebrate birthday for. Oh, I'm celebrating the whole New Year if I made it. All right, it's cool. We celebrate New Year's for. I celebrate. You starting to see the picture? You celebrate 2 New Years at one time, right? But it's not that because you want to do something. So the birthday is idolatry because it's something about you being specific. If you want somebody, oh, the Bible talking about birthdays, this or that. And you know what's crazy? It's always talked about it. I just never peeped it. I used the Pharaoh incidents, and that's not strong enough. But this case right here, I was always wondering why. I always tell people what was going on, but now I know why these particular people died, because they were putting themselves above God on a birthday. It's all about them. God says in I want to say it's Ecclesiastes that it's better the day the man leaves and dies than it is when they're born. When we go to funerals, we'll be celebrating death. When Joseph had his funeral, everybody celebrated. They popping bottles, fireworks, XYZ. You know why? Joseph was 100 years old. Joseph had kids. Joseph saved the land. It's not, I get why people crying and sad. You ain't supposed to be dead at 17. I'm supposed to be dead at 20. You're not supposed to be dead around. You're supposed to be dead at 100 years old, sitting in your bed around your grandkids. That's cool. It's not cool to die when you're young, right? So now tradition, everybody wear black. We got to wear black for. That's already sad. Look crazy. Look, we in a gangster or a cult or something. Why can't I wear blue or red? Why can't I wear what I want to wear, right? But this is all part of the plan. So this is about birthdays. It's the story of Job. The first one is going to be in Genesis, which is about Pharaoh. And I got to show y'all this because I want to make sure y'all understand how the Bible works and when certain words are used in certain contexts. So this is Genesis chapter 40, verse 20.
And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants.
He killed both of them on his birthday because he's mad because he can't interpret his dream. Ain't that something? You mad because you had a nightmare and I couldn't tell you what it was, so you get me killed. Boy, you something else. Just don't worry about it. But I highlighted day and birthday because that word is Yom in the Hebrew. It's H3117, right? It's called Yom. It says from an unused root meaning to be a hot day, whether literally it could be the sunset, it could be a couple days. You see how highlighted it says birth, it can be each day, it can be so many different things. So that word was used in that passage both times, that the word Yom, but it depends on the context, right? So when you look back at it, it said it came the third day, which was Pharaoh's day, right? So instead of saying Pharaoh's day, say Pharaoh's birthday. In this particular, use birthday. But in Job, they say something a little different. So this is Job chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. And it's talking about Job's little ratchet children.
There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually.
All right, so just looking at this, you try to figure out they had a feast day they celebrated. It said Job was rich, right? But it says in their houses, everyone his day, right? And then it goes on to say, when it says, according to the number of them all, Job said it may be that the sons have cursed God, sinned against God in their hearts, right? So mind you, after this, God kills them. He takes them away in winds, hurricanes, all types of stuff. So he kills all the children. People are like, well, God took Job's family. Well, first of all, they was committing idolatry. They don't tell you that part. They make it sound like God evil. But I just showed you they said they all celebrating, everyone his day, everybody coming in. And to further prove this, right, in Job 3, chapter 3, verses 1 through 4, Job explains the day that he curses. Watch this.
After this opened Job his mouth, and cursed his day.
Hold on, stop. It say he cursed his day, right? Keep going.
And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived. Let the day be darkness, let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it.
So he says, let that day, the day that he's born, let it have no regard from above, let no light shine upon it, right? Because he just witnessed his children dying from celebrating their birthday and putting it above God. I tell you this all the time. When a birthday, I've been to a couple birthday parties myself, they give you a cake, they put candles around it, turn the lights off, they sing a song. You know what they do? They make a wish. It's just crazy, right? Check this out. Show you where this comes from. It says the tradition of blowing out birthday candles, often associated with making a wish, has roots in ancient Greek and German customs. In ancient Greece, candles were believed to carry prayers and wishes to the gods, not God, to the gods in the smoke, while Germans link the candles to the light of life. Today, blowing out candles continues to be a symbolic act of celebrating the birthday and making a wish for the future, right? So this thing people do all the time. You've been to birthday parties, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins. They in this young offering to gods. The baby don't know. You was a baby, you didn't know, but you carried on the tradition. You never looked about it, never seen what it was. This is what you're literally doing. Offering to gods. Because what I realized though, we have one God, right? You believe in Christ, you got one God, right? And he show you how to worship him. But when I started looking into all these other cultures, they got all these gods, they be doing the craziest things. You ever seen like the Greek soldiers, when they die, they put like coins on his eyes on the boat. You know what that's for? So when he's dead, he goes to the afterlife, Anubis or somebody greets him. Those coins are supposed to be him to get in. It's like his bus token to get into the other side so he don't go suffering. That's what they believe in. They have so many things. Like the goddesses, they make fruit baskets, right? Which is crazy. They make fruit baskets. Put all this fruit in and watermelon, stuff like that. pushes it in the water, whether river or lake, and set it off. You know who else made a fruit basket? Cain, and gave it to God. Hey, I don't want no fruit basket, boy. What are you giving me this fruit basket for? So it's always been happening, but the problem is we don't know no better. And it's like I said, since we don't know no better, it's the problem. So I had to go deeper. I read the Satanic Bible. Not all of it, not all of it, but I read some. I had to see what it's about. I gotta know what the opposition doing. This is in the Satanic Bible. This is what it reads, right? It says the highest of all holidays, right? Not Christmas, none of that. Of all holidays in the Satanic religion is the date of one's own birth. This is in a direct contradiction to the holy of holy days of other religions. He's talking about church because he talks a lot about God and the Christian religion in this book. It says which deify a particular God who has been created in an anamorphic form of their own image, thereby showing that the ego is not really buried. The Satanists feel, why not really be honest? And if you're going to create a God in your image, why not create the God as yourself? I do agree with that. If that's what you're going to do, why you don't be the God? Every man is a God if he chooses to recognize himself as one. So the Satanist celebrates his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year. After all, aren't you happier about the fact that you were born than you are about the birth of someone that you have never ever met? Or for the matter aside from religious holidays, why pay higher tribute to the birthday of a president or to a date in history than we do the day we brought into this greatest of all worlds? Despite the fact some of us may not have been wanted, or at least were not particularly planned, we're glad, even if no one else is, they were here. You should give yourself a pat on the back by yourself, whatever you want. Treat yourself like the king or God that you are, and generally celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. That's what people who celebrate birthday do. I was at work, girls like, why didn't you give me for birthday? I'm your dad or something. I'm not so sure. That's kind of, I really didn't get it. She was like, you got me some flowers or something. I'm not, you don't get it. I don't do birthdays. It can be my own mother. She not getting nothing. She did at one point in time. I told her I don't do that. I never did it for myself, and people still do it. I'm appreciating people that did want to make a gesture, but I don't need it. I forget my birthday. It was one time I was like, you going to DC? I'm like, what are you going to DC for? It's a feast. I don't got nothing to do up there. And I was like, I'm sure. And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, oh, my birthday. Because I don't care about it. You want to know why? Because like I said, what happens if you didn't know your birthday? Then what you do? You know what they say? I'm going to just pick a day. You so found on celebrating something for yourself. So why not celebrate just the day you went? And like I said, it said you more care about your birthday than somebody else's. I ain't never met somebody that cared more about somebody else's birthday than their own. I ain't never met nobody like that. I want a gift on your birthday. I want a gift on your birthday. Your birthday's past. You lucky. I want a gift for your birthday. I want a gift for your birthday. I want a gift for everybody's birthday. Yeah, some people do this. The whole month. I gotta do it the whole month.
It's funny you said that.
Send me that picture of the.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, man.
This is birthdays. I think, right? Maybe. Not playing on my screen.
James White with Seeker's House. What the fact? I want to let you know today that if you have ever blown out candles on your birthday cake during your birthday party, then you have practiced what is known as candle magic. And if you're a parent who buys or bakes cakes for their kids and put candles on them for your kids to blow out, then your kids are practicing candle magic and you are indeed teaching them magical rituals. You're passing these rituals down through the generations. And just think about it for a sec. You're at your birthday party and the candles are lit in front of you as a kid. You're encouraged to make a wish silently. Most of the time, close your eyes.
Got on a little party witch hat. Yeah, you want a hat? No, I want no hat.
It's funny because I got a cone on that joint.
Yo, what part of common sense is this? You know, do we ever really question why would we do something like that? It doesn't seem logical, you know, yet it's something that we've just always done. Always done. I know, you know, we've always done it without having the slightest idea where it comes from. But that's the basis of it. Richard Webster writes in his book, Candle Magic for Beginners. You may be surprised to learn that you have been practicing candle magic since you were a toddler. Making a wish when you blew out the candles on your birthday cake is a good example of candle magic. These are esoteric practices. Even the birthday cake itself when you trace the birthday cake back, it traces back to ancient Europe, where they believed in the many gods and the goddesses, a lot of deities, and these cakes, they usually were not sweet, but they were made as offerings to these gods and goddesses. They didn't really have candles on them to begin with. I believe the candles started with the cakes that were made for the goddess Artemis, uh, the goddess of the moon and wilderness and animals and things like that. And so, if you believe in the Torah, or you believe in the Bible, the Quran, you consider these practices to be pagan. And the ritual of blowing up candle has a definite mystical and magical nature to it. And if you read your holy books, I'm sure that they condemn these type of practices. These type of practices are considered to be idolatry and witchcraft and sorcery, which your holy books are going to condemn. But at the same time, if you believe in these religions and you practice blowing out candles, or you encourage your kids to, you're doing both at the same time. You are practicing witchcraft. So even when we look at the tradition, you'll see that you specifically blow out candles. In a lot of magical rituals, you don't blow out the candles. You would snuff them out and put them out with your fingers. But blowing out a candle, the reason you will blow out candles is many people believe it's a certain way to, like, usually send some type of energy, some type of intent, some type of wish to the gods, or the higher powers, the forces that be, or what have you, whatever you believe in. So just a little bit of information. I don't know, maybe this just enlightens some people who don't really care either way, just think it's something fun to do. Or if you are, of the religious persuasion, maybe this is something that you may find it beneficial to stop doing and stop teaching your kids, because it probably definitely does go against your core, the core teachings of your faith. And I mean, hey, I'll take a little thank you note or whatever you want to send, if that helps you get right in your faith. But
all right, so that's all I wanted to show you for that. But yeah, see what I'm saying? He said he was offering cakes. And when we read in Jeremiah, they was offering cakes. So clearly the demons and gods like cakes. I don't know what the cakes is about, but they like cakes, pastries and all that other stuff. But like I said, it's always weird to me that like God just took me away from that type of stuff, right? But now I know why. Now I was like, well, what am I doing anyway? So he was already, and don't feel bad if you took participate. I've been to people's houses and birthday cakes, but I never really understood it though. I never really understood the whole point of the birthday. I never got it. You wanted to, because I felt like we had to make sure it was your way. Like my niece, her cousin or whatever, she was talking about, you gotta come here, you gotta have $700 to get these bottles. I'm like, who birthday is it? Is your birthday? Like, why do I gotta buy all this stuff? I don't even have $7 to give you. I might got $7. I don't know about 70. I mean 700 just to get bottles to a place that I didn't want to be. But just think about it. Every time I've been out somebody's birthday party, it's always been about them. We got to get them gifts. We got to make sure they happy. And then it's crazy. Anything go wrong? Somebody don't text them. Somebody don't wish you happy birthday. They mad. Ain't nobody. Well, everybody was my happy birthday. That's crazy. I don't know about, I didn't thought I'd tell that this, but I told you on the feast, my friend texted me happy birthday years ago, and the next day I didn't get a chance to say thank you because he died that night, right? Died in his sleep, whatever, young guy, whatever. So I'm not valuing the birthday. I just value the day. Every time I see y'all, man, it's great. I wish I could see y'all every day, just to say hi, say hey, because I'm valuing every single day. My birthday don't matter because just think about it. Let's say you want to celebrate. You can do any day. You ain't gotta wait till your birthday. You might not even make it to your birthday. You wait your birthday in December. Yeah, you might just get out of the way now. Like, let's go. You wanna go party? Let's go. You wait until December. December may not come. Just do it now. You wanna do something. That's how I did my birthday when I was doing a little going out to eat. But I didn't see it as like at this party where everybody was celebrating me. It was just more so everybody having a good time. We went to a place and I ordered crab cakes and stuff, right? I don't even eat crabs, but I know they do. I just want to make sure my friends are having a good time because I just cared about just being around friends and family. So I'm not going to say and tell you, hey, don't do what you do on your birthday and whatever. I guess you can acknowledge it, but it's really not the day you was born, right? Like I said, it's a ritual. You close your eyes, or you do close your eyes. You close your eyes, make a wish. I don't know who you wishing to, and then the lights off. Everybody saying the birthday chant. I tell you all the time, chants is really dangerous. And they saying stuff. You ever seen people in the churches? And they saying hallelujah, hallelujah, amen. Well, the reason why I say amen when we praying, and they say amen at the end, because amen is Amen Ra, right? The little Egyptian god. So it's really weird how they would put that because he was reading the area. You saw how I said Noe? Well, that's Noah, right? But the Greek is spelled like that. But a lot of words is like that. So who's it telling? So I tell you all the time, be careful with names because names matter. But what happens is, you ever been to the church and they be doing that, they going crazy? You know what happens? It usually comes from when they keep saying hallelujah or amen. Because you're doing conjuring of a spirit, like Beetlejuice. Say it, Beetlejuice, 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 it'll come out. You keep saying amen, amen, amen. Spirit come through, start, hey, well, I'm be like, oh, what I'm going around here, do. And everybody calm down, spirit like, okay, I got spirit got his little dance and XYZ, but they don't see it that way. They just think the Holy Ghost is it. I'm like, nah, because there's nothing in the Bible that talks about that. It's actually the opposite. You ain't gonna be in church shouting, going hooping and hollering, speaking in tongues. I don't know what you just said. He over there, blah, 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 blah. What you just say? Don't have no idea because it could have been something really dangerous happening. Why would God make him speak in African language? I don't speak African. I don't even know no Africans. Why would you make him speak that? Nobody here could translate it. That would be kind of crazy, right? So just think about those things. So this is the last section, denominations. I tell you all the time, denominations is really crazy. I've learned that all denominations come from the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church make this one, this one, this one, this, and they just branch off. What happens is, I like him. Hey man, you don't want to do it on Saturday? Oh, it's gonna be an event, man. You take all the tradition that he got from him. We just do it on Saturdays. Switch up some things, and then he'll take his be like, oh well, you know what? They don't like dipping babies. We like dipping babies. We gonna baptize babies. So he branches off, and then they get all these different sections. Not realizing everything comes from the Catholic Church because everybody do similar things to the Catholics. So this is Romans chapter 16, verse 17 and 18.
Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceiveth the hearts of the simple.
Fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple, right? Because you're going from doctrine to doctrine. See this: Catholic, Baptist, Church of Christ, Pentecostal, Methodist, Jehovah's Witness, Evangelical, Presbyterian, Apostolic, Seventh-day Adventist, Lutheran, Orthodox. Every time I tell somebody I serve God, oh, what's your denomination? I just read the Bible. So you more like a Lutheran or you? No,
It's too much.
I just read the Bible, bro. There's none of these names even in this book. They just make it up name. Oh, John the Baptist. He ain't say nothing about him making no Baptist XYZ. But I found out the people who made some of these things. So for instance, right? Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. The Roman Church doctrine, nobody can follow 613 laws of God. Mind you, the book doesn't say there's 613 laws. I'm gonna let you say that right now. That's what the Jewish people said. We can't follow all the laws of God. It's impossible. But then you follow a man's laws. They say man got 88,899 laws. You follow those though. I bet you won't run that stop sign. I bet you won't run that red light. I bet you won't do a lot of these things. I bet you won't pee outside. Cause you know what's gonna happen? It's a penalty behind it, right? But they feel like God, we got grace and all this stuff. Ain't no penalty. Well, there's penalty when you break God's rules. You just might not see it like you do on earth. You might not see it as a jail. You might not see it as a ticket or a fine. But there is penalty. Like I said, I stole some girl's phone, lost my phone like 2 weeks later. And this was the sad. This was the worst part about losing the phone. I never forget it. I was at the theme park. It's like 12 o'clock. My phone fall off on the Two-Face. I said, can I get my phone? They say, no. You wait till the park closed because we can't let somebody do that while the thing is down there. Cool. Man, I stayed at that park the whole time. Just about to that Two-Face. They said, oh, you can't do it, the park closing. I was hurt. But you know what? I couldn't be wrong. I stole my phone. So God stole my phone. I mean, I got a new phone later. But he punished me, right? And the punishment wasn't the phone. I stayed in the park the whole day thinking I'm going to get this phone back. They let me go. They was like, no, you can't. We don't let people do that. They told me earlier I could wait. I waited to park I wasn't even riding rides no more. I would just wait until the park closed. Then I had to tell my mother, like, well, you got your phone. I lost on the ride, man, being a pagan. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 12 through 16. I was so sick that day. Oh, I was sick.
For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, and the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ, from whom the whole body, fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love.
So basically saying don't be church hopping, right? I church hop too, but I church hop for different reasons. I church hop to see what's going on and understand where people are coming from. Kind of like stealing people. Like, you should be at the church, but they doing wild stuff, X, Y, Z. But the reason why I'm saying the doctrine, because you could be confused by listening to different people's doctrines, and you're like, well, they said this, and you believe that. But it was must say something like, oh yeah, but what the problem is, you just looking for your ears to hear something you want to hear. Don't do that. Every time you hear something from somebody, no matter who it is, I'm not telling you gotta listen to me all the time. Listen to anybody you want to. But every time you hear somebody, you always go back and ask God about it. Let him reveal it to you through the book. Because like I said, some of these preachers I be hearing on stage, they be saying whatever. One dude said Adam didn't have a body. I said, what? He's like, yeah, Adam didn't have a body. They in the crowd like, oh yeah, Adam have a body. I'm like, well, they believe that. One dude said you can get a tattoo. I told him, hey, tattoos against the rules. He was like, Christ got a tattoo on his thigh, and this is his new name. I was like, that's not what that say. And they in the crowd cheering. You want to know why? Because they heart want tattoos. I tell you all the time, I'm going to tell you why a tattoo is crazy anyway. A tattoo is a wound. When you get a tattoo, you got to put ointment on that. It got to heal. Why would God want you to hurt yourself? I don't even care about the ink. You didn't get to the ink part. It's a bird. Like you gotta heal. Look, I got tattoos. I can't even show you. I got a tattoo up here. My friend messed me up, right? Trying to be a good guy, trying to support tattoo artists. Don't you ever do it. Don't you ever do it. He tore my arm up so bad, I went to the thing like a year later to get it covered. They said, we can't touch that. He said, why? He said, it's still healing. I said, I got it done a year ago. He was like, yeah, that might have still for like 8 years. I said, what? I'm trying to get it fixed now. He said, nah. I said, okay, cool. I got one on my leg. He was poking me so hard with the needle, my skin was like getting peeled back. I tried to get this one covered up. So now from time to time, it just itches. Like it just itches from time to time. They're like, go put some cream on it. I was like, you don't get it. It's just a wound. I gotta eat this. I wish I could get rid of all of it, but like I said, it's literally a wound. You have to put cream on it, ointment. And I don't know if you ever seen somebody that had a tattoo and you you don't put the cream, you're not taking care of it, it'll start scabbing up, pussing and everything. It will just turn to a giant scab. I'm like, yeah, but guess what it is? It's a wound.
I seen a whole tattoo like about this big turn into a keloid. The whole thing. I was
but that's
like,
what happened. I told you on my arm, like from time to time, you can't see it now, but like if I was to like get it smacked, it'll start like rising a little bit. It don't come in keloid form, but it'll feel like my skin like allergic to something. I've been hurt. What? About my tattoos? No. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, man. Don't judge me about my tattoos, baby. Don't judge me.
In the Bible, did this guy tell you that they saw Christ in the thigh?
I ain't never seen
it. So it's a revelation. I'll talk about it myself, but it's a revelation. They say he come back and said Christ has a new name. He said something about his inner thigh, and he said this on his forehead that you'll see. That's a tattoo. I'm like, that does not say it's a tattoo. But this preacher he's a preacher that's hot right now too. Philip Anthony Mitchell. He said this is when I guess he first started, but everybody was eating it up. But I said, I know why you're eating it up. It's because you want a tattoo. Another preacher said, well, when you get the tattoo, it is something godly. I had a friend who got a tattoo. I showed him that you're not going to get tattoos. He comes back with another tattoo and then another tattoo. I'm like, oh, you just ain't get the message. Okay, cool. Now realize that you might get punished later. But yeah, it's a revelation. It says something about it being like on his leg, and it says the name of because Christ has a name that nobody knows. And he said that's what appeared on his leg. And he considered it a tattoo. But I was like, you're pleasing your audience because that's not what that says. Christ was not up there to heaven in the shop. Yeah, put that thing right there. They gonna see this one. Come down here.
One for the books.
Yeah. Come down here in Speedos with a flaming sword. So that's not what that
Speedos and flaming sword is trash.
But he gotta have some kind of short sword so to see on his thigh. That's why, like he said, how would I see Christ's inner thigh? You gotta have some skinny underwear or something, right? So these are the little man-made religions that people I guess started. So the first guy with the super long beard, that's John Smith. He made the Baptist religion. Charles Parham is next. He made the Pentecostal one. Joseph Smith, I've been learning about the Mormons lately. He's one of those. And Brigham Young, that's what BYU is. He's another Mormon that started the Mormon things. Then you got Charles Russell, he's a Jehovah's Witness. And you got this guy, William Miller, Seventh-day Adventist. None of these things are even in the Bible. The word Jehovah is really crazy. Let me show you this word Jehovah. All right, so the Jeho in the Vav, right? Well, in the center that says Jobelin. So what this is a signal or something they use in the Masons, right? So people say Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. I was listening to this church the other day. They were talking about Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. I'm like, they don't know they're saying Satan, 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 Satan. So check this out. Joblin, also spelled Joblin, Jbulon, is a word used in some Masonic rituals. Particularly in the Royal Ark Masonry, is considered a Masonic symbol or allegory with various interpretations. One common explanation is that it's a combination of part of God's name from different languages, which is in the case because God has one name only, and it's in Hebrew. And another is that represents a name in Masonic allegory about an explorer discovering an ancient temple. Additionally, Javelin is also the name of a Depp album by the band Method of Defiance. The word Jehovah, it means wicked, wicked God.
But that name is in the Bible.
Yeah, because
he says something, I don't remember where it is, he says something like, well, my name is Jehovah.
Yeah, because that's what they put in there. God's name is Ahaya. And this is how I know his name is not Jehovah, because there's no J's. Right? So then they might say it's Jehovah. Okay, cool, no problem. We'll even say Jehovah. But I've come to find out, I told y'all, God don't have multiple names. When you look up Jehovah or Jehovah, it says wicked God. It doesn't mean God's name. God's names mean I am. So when God says I am that I am, it's Ahaya, Ahaya. It means I am that I am. That's it. That's why when Christ was talking to them, he said, yeah, I am came first. He ain't said nothing about no wicked person or Jehovah, right? But like I said, it's about what you believe in. Because you saying that it's in that, right? Because some Bibles do say Jehovah, right? But then other Bibles say, what does it say? It doesn't say Jehovah. What is it saying? Yeah, some of them say Yahweh. So now we got a problem because we got two different books. So the fact that y'all got books and we can't agree on what it is, they're like, well, that's the Hebrew. So what is Jehovah? Is it Jehovah not Hebrew? Because now you keep altering. I told y'all names is always confusing. And when I used to read the New Testament, I could not figure out who Isaiah was. I was like, who in the world is Isaiah? Charles Corners is Isaiah because that's what they call him. When I go around his family or Spanish people, they call me Julio. My name ain't Julio. But in their language, they don't have enough letters to spell my name. They don't even pronounce it that way. Or they'll it was really weird. Like a Spanish person text you, you know how we say ha 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 like laughing? They say ja ja ja. Because their jaw is the H, right? So just that off alone, I already know that the names ain't always what they say they are, right? You know what I'm saying? But people who don't see it that way, so anything can be misconstrued. So like Satan, right? That's not his name. Satan means adversary. Anybody can be Satan. If you the op, you can be Satan. Satan's name is Samuel. All the angels have an L in their name. Michael, El, Samuel, Raphael.
It's all the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's all the Ninja Turtles. They all got an L in it. You know why they got an L? Because the L stands for Elohim or Elohim. It means God, because God got a part of each one of them. That's where that comes from. His name is not Lucifer or anything like that. Yeah, Lucifer means light bearer. That's not his name. His name is Samuel. It was crazy. They tell you it's a show called Lucifer. When God talks to him, he says Samuel, and he go like this, like that, and look just at him. The who? He's seen it already. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I heard it was good. But Samuel?
For real? Oh, that put a whole different perspective on that movie.
You know, with the makeup.
Yeah, he was part of. Well, Azazel was there too, but Samuel was out there. He was one of them in the group because they had like I guess different
Azazel's a Marvel
group. Yeah, I mean he is, but Azazel is the one that's under the pyramid. So you know, like the big old pyramid that's in Giza. It's the big one. You got two ones next to him, right? And people was talking about who made the pyramids. I didn't know the pyramids, how much they weigh, but let alone the rocks they used were 600 miles away. So I don't know what entity could have pulled that besides an angel or a god. The Book of Enoch says that Michael and them did it. They put him under there. And the reason why you can't go into the pyramids, people go to the pyramids, but you can't go inside. Right, and the reason why you can't go inside because Azazel's in there. Right, he's at the bottom. This is a prison for him. Right, but if you ever look on like Google, YouTube, the elites, Obama and all them, they can go in there, but they're going in there to receive instruction on what to do because Azazel can tell them what to do. He the one that was telling them how to do weapons, magic,
visitation rights.
Yeah, they got visitation rights. Yeah, conjugal visits. They got visitations with the dog. You can't go in there because if you went in there, then you would know what's going on. Like I said, but they can't tell you those type of things or whatever the case may be. I hate this. I saw somebody call it. They say it's called Coexist, like a new sticker with all the religions on it. I hate it, right? And they got the cross up there, which is Christianity, which I don't believe in. But it says the Bible say they should have no other God before me, which I totally agree. It's God and nobody else. So anytime somebody says something about a God, it don't even matter. Because if it's not God, it doesn't matter. I told people the word God it's a title. It's not necessarily me. I don't really try to call God that, but I do it So I have conversations with people because I understand the level of understanding. But anybody can be a god, but I cannot stand when they try to like put all these things together and say like all these symbols is bad. You got the hand, the Japanese sign, they go that 6-pointed star, which I guess the Jewish thing. I don't know what that thing is next to the moon, but we know about the moon goddess. That's the queen of heaven. They always putting themselves into the cross. That's from Babylon. All this is from Babylon, right? If you don't have any idea, everything is from Babylon. Right? Everything is from Babylon. So, like I said, as y'all going out, and there's more stuff I could have told y'all, but I can't hold y'all for all day. I had y'all for 2 hours. It's more than I could have told y'all, but there's so much deception in the world. Like I said, the smallest thing. Like I said, the sun god, right? Who we do? Pray on Sunday. Okay, the Dole sign, sun. The BP sign, the sun. You think the Shell gas station, you that Shell? That's the sun. The NBC is sun. Walmart got the sun. Everybody, they know what's going on. You just don't know what's going on. And that's how they talk to each other. They do signals, hand signs, stuff like that. They always said if you was in court, you had trouble, get a Jewish lawyer. He gonna look at the judge, give him the hand signal. He good. You probably committed murder. Don't matter. You good. Just cause you. Listen, I'll tell you. Listen to people in the streets. They always tell you they always get a Jewish lawyer. I never knew what it meant. I know what it meant now. You ain't really beating the case. His man, the judge. I say, you know how easy it is when the corruptors is the one doing the passing and the billing. Yeah, he was talking about, you know, he being El Salvadorian, how all this crime was happening, like all this murder. Yeah, it's easy to have murder. If you the politician and you the cop and then you the judge, I'm never going to jail. I'm killing somebody. He my brother. He my cousin. He my brother. It doesn't even matter. What can I do? But if I remove them when I do a crime, it's a little different. So now they go from what 1,500 murders a year to like 3, because you don't have that backing no more.
New prime minister.
Yeah, but he removed all the politicians. See, that's the part. If
all the gangs.
If any corruption, you always see, just like even in our country, any corruption, it got to come from somebody that's not part of the corruption on the low level. It got to be somebody, Pelosi's, it got to be somebody that can pass the gate. It always got to be somebody in a stronghold that got some type of inside connection that can pass all things. All these people, they be having crooked cops and all that. It's always somebody that can do something. And you ever seen American Gangster? The cops was taking the dope off the street, putting it back in the thing. They go into the, I guess, what is that? Evidence room, take it back and selling it back to the block. The same, I ain't gonna lie, I would do the same thing. That's why I got to be a cop. I did the same thing because it's free. I ain't gotta worry about that. I'm stealing your guns, XYZ, but there always gotta be somebody. Even on training day, right? Denzel was doing our corrupt stuff. Before even him to pay the Russians off, he talked to the wise men. The wise men were them politicians people. You gotta have somebody that is not in the streets. That's how it always is, no matter what the case is, right? So this is Psalms, and I'm ending with this. Psalms chapter 10, the whole chapter. It say, why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the vices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and blessed is the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in the den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thy hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doeth the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked, and the evil man seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou art prepared their heart. Thou art caused thy ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. So he's talking about Satan being wicked and stuff like that, and how, like I said, he's always going to come out to the poor, the people of poor spirit, the people of poor money, right? Because they're the easiest ones to get. And like I said, a lot of reasons why is because you go through tradition, you go through all these things, and you're just not understanding the depths of why you're doing all that. Like I say, everybody did somebody's birthday. I show you a picture, somebody said a couple words, thought, oh, cats on the head, cat, like, whoa, it started making a little sense, right? But you never seen it like that. And it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? That's what grace is for. That's why we cover through grace. But once you know about it, you come out of it. You stop doing those things. You don't keep participating in this, or you don't keep participating in that, not realizing, like I said, all this stuff is corruption. For instance, right? Never against no other race. I lived in Virginia for a couple of years. What do you got? ABC store? That's it, right?
Yeah.
The ABC store. So it's like one store, right? I've been to other white neighborhoods, Asian neighborhoods. You got like 1, 2 liquor stores. Man, it's a liquor store in every corner around this jam. How? And the part the part that's the worst, we don't own none of them. It's always somebody who I don't recognize, who don't live with us, don't do nothing. But it's like, damn, you our neighborhood. Or the tobacco shops. You know, we smoke weed and all this other stuff. It'd be Indian people like, where y'all come from? Oh, we just here in America. Go back to your country. Like, what you over here for? And then you over here in my neighborhood because, like, Tyson's Corner, I think it's like a Arab Indian little section. They don't have all that.
Yeah.
I ain't see a liquor store. I was looking for a liquor store. I couldn't find one. I'm like, well, I gotta go. I gotta go to the hood to get one. Then you got this one little round liquor store. We got like it's even crazy. ABC store, right, or something like that. I was disgusted when I went in there because I was so used to just having so much variety. They don't got no Ace of Spades. Ain't no champagne in here. It's just all this nasty Virginia whiskey and I don't know gin. I hate
They're
it.
scarce, so it's like
It's scarce.
Yeah, it's like one where my parents live at, but to get to the other one, you got to drive all the way across town.
They got 2 bottles of Patron.
They got 2 bottles.
2 bottles of Patron. But it's the thing though, huh? The store comes what, 7, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 7, 8 o'clock.
Oh, liquor store open up at 5, close at 12, boy. Hey, walking at 5 in the morning. Clearly, somebody buying it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody buying it, but it's just crazy. Like I said, it's all deception. So you gotta just come out of it and start realizing. And like I said, I know it's not easy. It took me steps. I'm still mad about that Wendy's. I'm trying. If Dave Thomas was alive, boy, I'm telling you, I was gonna choke him. Because I mean, it's crazy. I was eating. It was in the 5 and 5, the 4 for 4.
Yeah,
right?
bro, we was
for years. I was that thing pork palooza. I don't even know it. But she said that, I was like, that's why I said to you about whatever. Like, yeah, let's eat Wendy's.
Probably why your chest tight.
It could be. But you know what? I won't eat it no more. So if I want a sandwich or a piece of bread, I'm gonna make it myself.
It's
I don't want no hamburgers from the streets. Maybe that's why we be going to a war though. Yeah, maybe. I gotta ask. They got monoglyceride.
Well, I think Nas good though. I think
it could be. Yeah. I'm not so sure, but I thank y'all for coming. That was today's lesson. I love all y'all. Shalom, shalom. I hope to see y'all next time. I'm gonna send y'all the invite or the flyer tomorrow, but on the 31st is the first day of summer. Which is today?
May, right?
Yeah, May 31st. Yeah, that's the first day of summer. Don't let the sun fool. Don't let that calendar day June, July. I don't know what it is, but the first day.
Need that meal together.
First day of summer, May 31st. So I'll see y'all again. And thank y'all for coming. So we're gonna say our prayer, and I know y'all hungry.
Man, that candle thing is crazy too, because I seen the joint on Netflix, Talk to Me or whatever.